Smiling people, professional sanity. Tip a silver to Judas. Raise a cup and revel, a murder mayhem spree. Whisper to the devil, a blood-soaked fantasy. Tip a silver to Judas. Sing, sing, sing to me that old song. Power is but a revelation. Laugh, laugh like you like to do wrong. Drunk on hell's own revolution. Tip a silver to Judas. So tip a silver to Judas. Sing, sing, sing to me that old song. Power is but a revelation. Laugh, laugh like you like to do wrong. Drunk on hell's own revolution. Tip a silver to Judas. So tip a silver to Judas. So I'll pick up that old mask to hide my eyes of rage. Mileage of lives past, freed up from its cage. Tip a silver to Judas. I walk these streets of evil, my righteous fantasy. All these fake smiling people scream when they see me. Tip a silver to Judas. I'll sing, sing to you a brand new song. My pain is meant to be your salvation. My prize will be the cries of those who do wrong. My war will be an angel's revolution. Tip a silver to Judas. So tip a silver to Judas. So sing, sing, sing to me that old song. Power is but a revelation. Laugh, laugh like you like to do wrong. Drunk on hell's own revolution. Tip a silver to Judas. And I'll sing, sing a new song. My pain will be your salvation. My prize will be the cries of those who do wrong. My war will be an angel's brutal
And a good morning, best chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Another episode of delicious, malicious morning nonsense chat. Back at it again on a fresh, brand spanking new Monday. Hello to you, chat. We had a fantastic weekend. It was great and awesome, and all the great things I hope best chat always encounters, which is an awesome, awesome weekend, the bestest ever. But today, chat, today we are going into some interesting things today. I think we're a little bit of Kingdom Hearts, a little bit, because unfortunately, Hayden Panettiere was died at the age of 36, and she was the original voice of Kyrie from Kingdom Hearts. I thought, what an interesting experiment, right? That turned into a icon of, we'll say, weirdness. It's the plot line weirdness. Like it's like the gaming equivalent of Saw. anyway, chat. Anyway, chat. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Hope you're ready for some fun. Ready for a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun. At the very least, a little bit. Welcome. It's a Comedy says, good morning, LD and Best Chat. Well, good morning to you, Carlos Batista. Good morning. Let's see here, chat. Dr. Brisbane says, normalizing evil. We need that because today heroes are a bunch of annoying SJWs. Yeah, exactly. Don't forget Weeb Day memes. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's true. But speaking of Weeb Day, we went ahead and we did a chat. We got Venture Brothers season 2 done. Let's see. But here's the thing, right? Venture Brothers season 2. We got that one done, and then also Yu-Gi-Oh! GX season 2 finale this weekend. So count them, 2 season finale. So fantastic. So you want to check out the streams on Rumble? We got 2 season finales down, and both of them are pretty interesting. Right, we finally got the resolution of the Dark Riders and the Divine Beasts, and then we get to see like Jaden's final duel against Zane before Zane graduates. That's where it ended, and then we had, of course, the very interesting season finale of season 2 of Venture Brothers, where it's like this gigantic uproar with the Guild of Calamitous Intent. It's just the one we can see David Bowie as the Sovereign. Very cool stuff. So you want to check that out? Watch it. Sounds pretty good to me. I think you might have some fun. All right, Chad. Hudson Bomb says, morning, folks. So Disney's D23 happened, and it was a bunch of sequels that were announced Frozen 3, Incredibles 3, Coco 2. I always feel the ick now that Marnie Disney is more slop for the man. Frozen 3. Do we need a Frozen 3? That sucks. Frozen 3. Then how Incredibles? I saw Incredibles 3. It's going to be about how the Mr. Incredible's all sad and depressed. Of course it is, because he's a man. Of course he has to be sad and depressed. Remember at the end of Incredibles 1, where it was like one big happy family, and they're all just raring to go to become superheroes again? Then we had to get like it's a girl's world in 2, and he has to be Mr. Mom. And now we're getting in 3. It's about his depression, how he feels inadequate, things like that, and how he should be better because he needs to be better for his wife. So, come on, Coco 2. What do you mean Coco 2? How much deader can she get? Coco 2 Coco was about the grandma, and she was passing away, and finding out and rediscovering what matters, the truth about the past, all kinds of things. The love of song that he has, things of that nature. So like the original Coco was very, 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 very good movie. Rekindling old love, the uncovering of secrets, correcting lies. Great stuff. What's Coco 2 going to be about? Something like it could only be like a crazy loony adventure in like the undead world, because that's kind of, I think, where they would go. The first one had a bunch of heart in it. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be a bunch of quirk, and the dad, or the, what was he, his grandpa or whatever, is going to be like the butt of every joke and all that stuff. They're going to like just Flanderize everything. That's what my guess would be. I always feel the ick now that Marnie Disney, more slop, more pay pigs. Yeah, it's like who, like this, like the only thing that's the Coco 2 is the result of this. Like that's the only thing you can get a Coco 2 in, is we're trying to get more cash. We need more cash, so Coco 2. This is why I joked to Chris Gore like on Twitter, like they just now that the Odyssey has made $1 billion. I can't wait for Odyssey 2. I can't wait for Odyssey 2. It's going to be great. It's the Ace of Swords. Silas Archer says, good morning, LD and Rumble Chat. Hello to you, Ace of Swords, Silas Archer. Good morning, good morning. Ace says, good morning, everyone. Hello to you, hello to you. Junebug, May Hearts. Good morning. Today I start class. Fantastic. Congratulations, Junebug, May Hearts. Awesome, awesome. Hope things go well. TK Ultra says, happy Monday, Nerd Chat and LD. Hello to you, TK Ultra. Hello to you, Normal Man. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
It's when the X-Men cry about oppression after killing Toby Spider, you want forgiveness, get religion. Very based. Like, yeah, it's not like them crying oppression is not the same thing as a normal person crying oppression, because they are actually pretty crazy. They actually have dangerous, deadly powers. They actually have very dangerous, deadly powers, and so at some point, to the point where they can't even control it. They might just annihilate people willy nilly without control over their own powers. It's insane. So it's not the same. Like, it's not like about racism where it's just like you have a different skin color or something. This is like way different. Way different. They actually have powers. They actually are different. It's pretty crazy. But anyway. But yeah, it's like just it's not the same. I was like, it's not the same. Sometimes some of you guys, according to what I've seen, need to be in some sort of institution. All right, we need to discriminate against them somehow. All right, because they are significantly different enough that they need to be concerned. All right, or we need to be concerned. It's a Up Down Down says, got a line on another job, so you won't be seeing me around again. Chat, love you all. Tolerate you, lizard devil. So long, Stu, my deviant brother. I mean, you got just no more around the chat at all, I suppose. Well, congratulations on the new job, though. Congratulations on the new job. Hope things go well. Up, down, down. Well done, well done. Hope things go well. Carl Token Nerd says, happy Monday. Good to see you. Feeling slightly better, but still may have to bounce early. I'm so busy and my head is spinning. We'll get that job done, but before then, we will go ahead and see what I'm my best to entertain you until then. Now, good luck to you, Carl Token Nerd. Hope things go well as well. And happy Monday. It's Enorm Man. Thanks for the additional $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let me see here.
Yes.
It's see, chat. Saw the new Spider-Man yesterday, and Jean is just fucking evil. There's no debate. Yeah. I think that's what the whole debate is, the whole controversy is about, where they're trying to say that, she's misunderstood. It's not her fault. The usual stuff where it's like she just did it for the right reasons. And no, she's just evil. Like, they treat the Punisher way harsher than this, and his whole thing is no one innocent must die. Like, no one innocent should die. So he plans out his hits so meticulously to make sure that even in the most even like his explosions and everything, when he puts on mortars and mines and whatever grenades, that there's not going to be not even a maid. Like, if he assaults a mansion full of criminals, there's not going to be a maid that walks in. So he makes sure that doesn't happen either. At one time, he got in trouble a little bit because he got the drop on, but he was trying to kill the Kingpin, and he was scaling the building, and he waited till the day where everyone was out and the Kingpin was there. I guess the Kingpin lives in his building, but they wait till the weekend or something so that everyone was out and there wouldn't be any chance of innocent people, even though they work for the Kingpin. No, they're still innocent. So it's about it's not necessarily about working for the Kingpin. It's about what do you do for him? Are you an enforcer? Do you help him perpetrate his crimes, or you just file his taxes? It's something like that. Or you bring him coffee. It's not the same. So yeah, he kind of even attacked the Kingpin on a day that everyone was absent from the building, just to make sure that no one innocent got hurt or killed. And they still treat Castle like an absolute psychopathic murdering criminal. But Jean Grey can go around and cause all kinds of mayhem and havoc among the civilian populace in the city, and it's okay, it's all forgiven, it's because she was sad or something like that. No. How about if that is the case, then my boy the Punisher should get a free ride. Abragione, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello. Hello to Abragione. So, Limbus says, good morning, LD and Best. The cyclic definition of insanity begins again and with the turning of Monday. Absolutely, absolutely. Shadowing Tronic says, good morning, all. Trying to wake, so pardon my incoherence. Anyone watching Lanterns drop last night didn't want to go to bed sad. I really get to review bad shows and my interest when relevant. I didn't. I didn't really care too much about the Lanterns move or show or whatever. Even though I like Green Lantern, but I already know it's about it wouldn't really bother. 'Cause I like Jon Stewart as well, so it wouldn't really bother me if they made the show about Jon Stewart. But they had to make a point about adding in what I guess is Hal Jordan and killing him off, just so we can have the whole. And we had the whole thing like they had the whole moment from Batwoman, like okay, like where she said like maybe I'm not Batman, maybe I'm better, right? It's like that. Like Jon Stewart has a line in the trailer where he's just like, finally, I'm finally this ring is in someone's hands who's worth it. Like me, like he's doing the arrogant SJW thing because he's black, because Kate Kane is a woman. Because I'm a woman, I'm better than Batman. Because I'm black, I'm better than Hal Jordan. Right? They have that in there, so it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not really gonna watch. This is gonna be woke slop. It's just I can just tell from the trailer. And I can totally judge the entire show on the trailer because that's what the trailer's for. Judge the entire show. You know how many shows and movies are out there? Like it's a saturation. I'm not obligated to watch their show. So the trailer, if the trailer is interesting, I would watch it. But it looks like woke slop, so I'm not going to watch it. I rarely get to review bad shows in my interests when relevant. Yeah, but I don't know. It feels like it'd be cool if they made a show about Jon Stewart. However, it's in this case, it's the reasons why they made Jon Stewart the main character, and it's because he's black. That's it. It's like, okay, we need a lantern show, so and we can't have a white guy. It's like they became a white guy be the main character, so we have to get the black Green Lantern. That's why they did it. All right, it was just going to be about Jon Stewart. Then it'd be fine. Like if they have to make a message about wokeness or diversity or anything like that. They didn't have to like do the whole I guess the purse puppy thing, as your boy Zach used to say, like this the really creepy, cringy way that these white liberal women, look at minorities like pets. You know how a woman will get like a cat or a dog or even a little baby and like dress him up and everything, and like, oh look, isn't he cute in his little suit? That's what white liberal women do to minorities. And that's kind of what I see every single time they just make a show and they're just going, "Oh, isn't he cute in his little lead role? Isn't that cute?" Like that's what I hear every single time they put a black guy or a Hispanic guy in the lead, and it is because of woke reasons. That's what I see. I see a liberal white woman going, "Oh, isn't he cute? His little main lead role. Look at him, his little costume. Isn't he cute?" Like, that's what it is. They're just dressing up minority men like a pet, like they would a pet or something. That's what I see. So every single time I see this, it's cringy and creepy. So that's exactly what I saw in the trailer of Lanterns. They're like go get him, champ. To Jon Stewart. Shadow Dancers, good morning, all. Good morning, all. There's a ball. Here we go. There's a ball. Good morning to you. Paul Human says, salute LD and Best Chat. Hello to you. Lady Fazlot says, good morning, LD and Best Chat. Back to the grind. Hello to you, Lady Fazlot. Good morning, good morning, good morning. TK Ultra says, double shot ice espressos are going into overdrive. Fantastic. Isaac says, the best weekend indeed. I hope it was. Hope it was. Tikana Ketro says, good morning, Litdev. Good morning, Litdev. And Rumble Chat. My father was admitted to the hospital for kidney infection. Oh man, only took 4 trips to the ER. Oh, 4 trips? I guess they wanted to turn him out of there. But I'm glad they finally caught it. Glad they finally admitted him. But kidney infection's a serious issue. Yeah, I'm glad. That's what happened to my mom. It wasn't it was a kidney thing. It was a kidney problem. That's why she had to end up going to dialysis. I had to take her to dialysis. So when I had to end the stream, I'm like, I gotta go, guys. And I couldn't do streamings for a while. That's kind of what happened. I had to go. I had to go take her to dialysis because they scheduled her for dialysis usually right after the stream, like right after, pretty much right after. So I needed like an hour or two to get her ready and everything. So yeah, kidney issues is no joke at all. So I'm glad they finally admitted him. Well done. See, Bor Legion says, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello to Iki Tran, says Teen Jack Jack. Hello to Iki Tran. Good morning, good morning. Abdon says, ain't no girls in Incredibles 2. They're females. It's so creepy. Z. Jake Bowie says, I can't believe that in 3 movies in now, and we still don't get to see Incredibles kids as teenagers or young adults being heroes. It's been like what 400 years since the first one came out, so you would think they would like have some more time pass. But they're doing the Incredibles the same thing they're doing with every single other superhero. So you know, it's they can't help themselves. That's the only thing. The only way to know how to write superhero is this really degenerate, or we're going to use them to push our propaganda. It's really cringe. It's a Carlos Batista. Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. There's the podcast chat. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, KH4 just dropped a new trailer, and the Kingdom Hearts anime was. See, I think they'd be better off kind of at this point giving us an anime. Making new games. Everyone's going to be like geriatric by the time they get to the end of the story. Hopefully the anime won't be too woke. Hopefully not. They get some people who care in there. It's a chat. It'll be about Jack Jack. Well, it was gonna be some. That'd be kind of funny if like the Jack Jack is gonna grow up to be like super masculine, or he's gonna grow up to be super soft, and the movie's gonna be about how this is the correct way boys should be: is soft and docile and submissive, or he's gonna be super masculine, and it's gonna be about him changing into someone super docile and submissive. Let's see. My bet would be on that one, on the hyper masculine one, because he's gonna oddly enough probably become arrogant because he has like insane level powers. Because he either has a bunch of powers or he has one that allows him to change what power he has. I don't know what it is exactly. So, you know, it was about Jack Jack. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a character arc about how he should feel shame for being born a guy. Essentially, it's going to be feeling shame for being born with so many powers. But it's really they're going to parallel it to be you should feel ashamed for being born a man and should dedicate yourself to kind of hindering your masculinity at all turns. That's my guess. And if they don't do that, they can't possibly make it good. So it's going to be really really bland. That's my guess as well. And this Isabel says, you want another day of dead animated movie? Just watch The Book of Life. I know. I think I've heard of that. I heard. I heard of it, but I haven't heard anything about it. Is he? Carter Ketchell says, more let them have a best chat. The only thing that modern media has is more advanced technology. Yeah, it looks sharper, but that's about it. They kind of trade in better looking stuff for worse writing for some reason. Gunblade Knights is morning Eldine best chat. Praise be to Space King. Absolutely. And by speaking of Space King, end of this month chat, boom, Space King. But anyway, yeah, the more advanced technology, we got that. But here's the thing. I used to think it was about, it's technology is coming up and getting easier, so a lot of the writers and things, a lot of the creative people have kind of like held back, and they didn't think it would be too. They need to put too much effort in there anymore because the technology can cover it now. Like they need to think ahead. They need to put in the effort. So they just they put in like 50% of the effort they put in 10 years ago because technology has advanced so far and technology can cover it now. Especially now with AI that can help you do things a little bit faster. And then I discovered. Well, before that, I was like, okay, well, now I know that they actually don't have to better themselves. They don't have to. And the reason why they don't have to is because they're told they're geniuses the entire time. Everyone is kind of just coddles them and make sure their feelings are just always on just always at the height of what their feelings should be. They're told they're geniuses. They're told they're fantastic. They're just handed down reward after reward. They're given gig after gig that any true artist would kill for. Just like this, they're handed people's dream jobs. They're handed people's literal dreams, of being published, of writing for a Marvel superhero, things like that. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. And they trash it. And they only see it as a stepping stone to something greater, where a lot of people, a lot of actual fans, actual writers, actual creative people would see this as, this is the moment. I am complete now. This is my final. I don't really care about, being in Hollywood. This is what I want to do. That's what a real creative person would be like. Um, that's what a real creative person would be like. I get the opportunity to create with this character or under this universe or whatever. But their idea is my opportunity to eventually get a Netflix deal or something. They don't actually care. So it's very telling. But the final stage of this was okay. Is this true? Probably because the whole liberal white woman thing about oh, aren't they cute? Aren't they cute with the little movie, the little Disney movie? Like, that's how I see it. Same thing with the minorities in lead roles. Like, aren't they cute in the little suits and their little suit and tie and their lead role? That's kind of how it goes. But the final stage of this that I learned was it's not even about being unable to write better or not knowing how to write better. It's about the fact that they yearn for the slop. So not only are they told that they're geniuses for all this, everyone around them has become so accustomed. Like there's a whole generation that's grown up on this slop, and they become accustomed to yearning for the slop. I guess like if you grew up on like McDonald's, you have no idea like what actual food tastes like. So like I just really wish I had more McDonald's. You know, just this filet mignon's okay, I guess. You know, back in 1990, but you know this filet mignon, this lobster, this rare steak, medium rare steak. I guess it's fine, but it's no McDonald's. that's what that's what it sounds like to me. And always says in the comics there was a kid whose mutant power was to disintegrate anybody within radius of himself. They send well, yes, that's the most dangerous one. That's someone's like, whoa, what the hell? But yeah, that's the kind of stuff they can get into. Absolutely, that's what can happen. It's crazy. It's literally crazy. These mutants can just by no fault of their own, but because they have powers, can just annihilate entire cities by accident. We need those sentinels in give us those sentinels, man. We need those. All right, it's important. Let's see. So what? There. Oh, I'm a little oppressed. Oh no. How about protecting the billions of other people who will be just oppressed by mutants? This one mutant is existing in the room. How about that? We need an equalizer. That's clearly the case. Also, I know I mentioned this last time we talked about the movie, but here's the thing: shouldn't in a world of mutants in the Marvel universe, shouldn't the police force be equipped to handle this kind of crap? Like, shouldn't the police force or SWAT teams, maybe not the regular beat cop, but like the SWAT teams, shouldn't they be equipped with like helmets that prevent like mind reading? They should block out psychic energy or whatever. And they should be equipped with armor that can withstand extra things like a you know acid or whatever they might come up with, they might encounter, because who knows, whatever they encounter might be a mutant or something. Like that should be standard issue. It's not like there's like an off chance, you know, there's something crazy happening. Superheroes are well known, mutants are well known. All right, cosmic weird aliens should be well, like your usual typical SWAT team should be pretty decently equipped against these kinds of terrestrial threats. Maybe they will be overwhelmed by a lot of mutants or aliens or something like that. But I really think that in a world like Marvel, your SWAT teams should have some sort of armor that helps them, or weaponry that helps them in great deals. It's a Cade Rewan says usually go to sleep with the stream going, but I'm visiting the other side of the planet, so now it's morning stream for me. Well, fantastic. Well, welcome. It's actually morning nonsense for you. Well done. Awesome. Hope you're having a fantastic time. Self-Destruction says, woo, hello to you, Mr. Self-Destruction. Welcome as well. It's a Rob Babe Fallen. Robbie Balfin. Are you Balfin? Lantern sucks. How's the GOAT? I like Hal Jordan a lot. Hal Jordan is actually pretty good. Let's see. But Hal Jordan deserves more than just being the old guy who dies just right away. Let's see. So Shadow Trunks says, so stick to the animated Jon Stewart movie. Saw a clip where John goes to the Justice League to get rid of the ring. They learn it was Hal's, so he joins Green Arrow to it looks cool. I did like the animated show. It's a Lady Facet says, I hope she's doing well now. I'd say here. Oh, you mean my mom? Oh, she unfortunately she passed away about back in February of last year. Of last year. Let's see. Let's see. It's kind of why I was hoping that Lady Midnight would fund because I was already working on that, and she passed away without any life insurance. So and, all the expenses to come out of pocket. So and a lot of money was sunk into Lady Midnight. So I was really hoping like, oh, maybe I can get this funded and I get my money back. but no, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. So not only did my mom die, like right after my mom died, my comic book failed to fund. Like it was a great year. It was a great year last year. Fantastic, the best year ever. It's a book column, LT book column. Good morning, good morning. Card Catch was a good morning. Kingdom Hearts anime was announced by Disney, so it's guaranteed to be woke slop. I would be slightly less disgusted if had been announced by Square Enix. Yeah, at least with Square Enix, probably get like some real anime guys, some real anime animators in there and directors, Japanese directors who are just focused on making a good story and not woke slop. And so Jing Vote is the Green Lantern Beware My Power anime movie stole one of Hal Jordan's stories and gave it to Jon Stewart instead. They get trying to erase Hal. They have like I barely have ever seen Hal Jordan. Every single time I've seen him in more recent stuff, it's always as a goofball idiot, which he really wasn't. I mean, he kind of was a goofball, but wasn't an idiot. He was just a little bit of a goofball, like your traditional like fly boy kind of goofball. Because guess what? He was a fly boy. That's exactly what he was. So it's very unfortunate. Hal Jordan was awesome. I think I saw Jon Stewart before I saw Hal Jordan, and then I read the Hal Jordan comics, and it was awesome. Hal Jordan's comics are really really good. They're trying to convince us that Hal Jordan never existed, but he did, and he was awesome. It was really really cool. Anyway, chat. Anyway, let's get down to business. And let's see, Trunk says, unfocused story aside, Kingdom Hearts seems to be do better than with Disney characters than Disney. Yeah, because these are the respected Disney characters. Now let's do a KC undercover level so they can include Zendaya. They probably would too. They probably would like bend over backwards to somehow include Zendaya in things. Who knows why, but they probably would. Absolutely. And it would be just as cringe as you're thinking. Absolutely. Let's see, chat. Let's see. Who's here? This as well says, believe it or not, the Book of Life came out before Coco. Really? I do know it's like one of those. It's another one like a Hispanic like flavor movie. Comic Wiz says, morning everyone. Did I miss anything? As for Jack Jack of the Incredibles, he's born with the ability to switch different powers at will. Yeah, that's what it looked like. I'm pretty sure that was the case. So, but the thing is, that's a lot of power to switch around. So, going by how Disney writes things, my assumption would be that he's going to grow up being arrogant, and then he's going to have to learn throughout his movie that he shouldn't be arrogant, and that's bad. And it's going to be parallel. It's going to be a little bit parallel to being a man, like because they kind of link arrogance with masculinity. So it's going to be parallel to him being a man, and how he should be, ashamed of being a man. But they're going to hide that message behind he should be ashamed for being born with so much power. You should learn how to just be docile and submissive. That's kind of what I think is going to have. I think going to be the case. Let's see, chat. Where are we now? Where are we now? Gregory 90. Good morning, let you know best chat. I watched the Green Knight and it was okay, but the ending confused me. A man plays a game with the Green Knight and has the journey to complete the game. Yes, the Christmas game. Now, did you watch like the new one? Like I guess not the new one anymore, but like because there's several versions of even in movie form, but the one I'm talking about is the one with the Indian guy as the main character. He was actually in he was a Fire Nation guy in the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar movie. I thought it was pretty good. I know it's not gonna be for everyone, but you know what, that movie I almost walked out of the theater at the end. I did. If I hadn't have paid so much for the ticket and the going to the movie and everything, getting the popcorn and stuff like that, which is around $25-$30, I would have walked out because at the end he runs away and he's like, no, I'm not going to complete this game. I'm going to run away. Fortunately, it didn't end the way I thought it would end because I was and still am so tired. Let's see. Let's see your chat. Anyway, anyway, 1 second here. All right, 1 second here. Let's see. All right, so I watched the Green Knight and it was okay, but the ending confused me. A man plays a game with the Green Knight and has a journey to complete the game. Yeah, that's kind of how it works. But the new one almost made me quit. Fortunately, I didn't. Let's see here. My vagabonds. I wrote a poem about this. Did you? Let's see. I'm done. Says, don't forget North Star exploding gay kid. Let's see. Alchemic 80s. Thanks for $10 super chat. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, let me see here. Let me see here. Alchemic 80 says these writers are looking for any opportunity to insert their stupid ideas rather than work within the frame of the world, like porgs in Star Wars. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Looking for just they use other people's stuff to frame their own mindset. It's their stupid ideas rather than work within frame of the world, like porgs into Star Wars. Yeah. There's no reason to add porgs in Star Wars. It was just for cuteness. That's about it. It was just cuteness. Carter Ketchel says a few months back, I had won a tomahawk cut of steak from my butcher shop. Thing was amazing and tasted way better than standard cut. Yeah, I heard tomahawk steaks are like top of the line, absolute peak top of the line. Let's see now. Up, down, down says I was talking with my friend about that tangentially something like Star Wars or Star Trek can fit all kinds of genre. Yes, you can kind of get this with Star Wars can be like Western, could be samurai, it could be like a mystery, like murder mystery. It can hold a lot of stuff. The same thing with Star Trek. Like Star Trek had a lot of things in there. It was very interesting. Very interesting. Like Star Wars had a lot. Star Trek had it could change from like a World War II segment to like just like a mystery box or not a mystery box, like a labyrinth or something, or like the just the ancient alien entity. It can change to like a murder mystery. It could be a lot of things. Absolutely. Let's see your chat. Let's see here. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, just it was very sudden too, but you know, it is how unfortunately how it went. It's a God please excuses that that's rough, buddy. Yeah, kind of. Thank you very much, everyone. It's the Up Down Down says, sorry, let that, but classic Hal Jordan is pretty dumb. He kind of a little bit like Flyboy, kind of silly. Flyboy, kind of silly. At least in the original comics. It's a chat. Hamilton Burgers is sorry to hear that, LD. I think there is a bit of renewed enthusiasm recently for comics crowdfunding and the launch of Back Me Bro for the Fans Fest and other mostly positive CG developments. Yeah, I think so too. I can feel the energy coming back. Absolutely. Let's see. I was up, down, down says I will say Hal Jordan was definitely a man of action and a flyboy, but the writers and artists played around much more with Kyle Rayner and Jon Stewart. Yeah, especially Kyle Rayner and Jon Stewart. I think they liked a lot. Hal Jordan was kind of like the generic guy. He's kind of the milk toast guy in the beginning, but I guess that they really like to play around with the newer lanterns more so than ever. Avo says, "I'm betting Elastigirl is going to be perfect and awesome in her crime fighting, despite sounding like a reanimated corpse with a speech impediment at this point." Probably. I mean, at this point, I just assume that they're always going to have this idea of that she's always going to be the better one. She's going to be the smarter one, and that Mr. Incredible sucks. That's kind of seems to me is going to be the case. Like, Mr. Incredible sucks. Mr. Incredible sucks, and we can't really have a main character be male anymore. It has to be a woman. It's a great note. He says the most recent Green Knight movie I saw, it ended with him having a vision of what happened, and yeah, that's it. That's the one I was talking about. Now off with your head, and then ends there. Well, that was pretty good. Anyway, chat. Anyway, let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. And here's a sneak peek, I suppose, of the new Doomsday movie. They put it out there. Uh, let's see what they show us. Here we go.
Victor was always the smartest guy in every room. He used to be different. He used to be kind, he used to be caring. And then everything he loved was taken from him. I knew he was lost, but I did not realize that he was broken.
Not any longer. He's not. He's evil.
Victor, did you do this?
All of you have lived, stolen lives. But now you must give them back.
Answer me, Victor! Did you do this?
I swear, you will beg for hell long before I grant it.
I'm not sure if Doom can actually do that or not, but I do know that it's possible. It's not really out of the realm possibility that he would be able to stop, Thor, because if Doom is, the Doctor Doom, then he's going to have power over science and magic. Like he was he was front runner to be Sorcerer Supreme. It's just that, Doctor Strange beat him to it. It's in terms of the dev. Watch Fake Wizards Lander stream. I think. Oh, Lander stream. I might. We do have a Fake Wizard video coming up though.
Hell answers to me. For I am Doom.
And the thing is, I still don't know what the movie's about, though. The first one was about, in this cool, we're getting a bunch of mutants and things together. And then this one's about how he's super cool, guys. Super cool. Look at him. He stopped Thor in his face. Like Thor being like the Warf of the universe now. Like if you want someone to be strong, then have him knock out Thor. And it's the Warf effect is happening where, okay, Thor is just kind of stupid now. It's kind of a joke. Anyway. Yeah, the words can express how little I care about this. Even if I even waste my time watching this, I will be sailing with my good friend Captain Jack Sparrow. By the way, there is another Jack Sparrow movie coming out. Apparently, Johnny Depp has signed on for a new one. Signed on for a new movie. Alex Haley too says that they are copying Bleach, stopping a sword with a finger. Oh yeah, just people pointed out too that is a very anime thing. They kind of did a very anime thing there. Anyway, chat, let's see here. Go ahead and update this, and we'll get right down to it. But there we go, Ches, a new little update, little snippet of the Doom movie that we're going to be getting soon. I don't. My guess a long time ago, before they ever announced Doctor Doom, was that they should bring in Doctor Doom. But it's kind of it's the right move. But Disney today is so incompetent. I'm kind of waiting to see how they mess it up. Like it seems like there's no way to mess this up, right? Because Doctor Doom is so powerful that he can just kind of have him do anything. Like he rules his own country. He's a master of science and magic. He's just really, really vain and prideful. But it feels like they're going to give him like the Kylo Ren treatment. Like he's going to he was once a happy man, but now he's not happy anymore, and he's a bad guy. We got to see what happened to him. Anyway, I guess very for all of its glitz and glamour. For some reason, it feels very boring and underwhelming. It really, really does. Let's see, chat. All right. Here we go. So, it's a video someone told me about called "What We Don't Want to Admit About Modern Men." Should be interesting. Let's go, chat. Let's go.
A man's inner strength, the blazing fire he's born with that the world will try its hardest to put out. Although Spirit is born into a beautiful paradise, the movie really starts when the idyllic life of the herd is interrupted by a group of soldiers camping nearby. The men there greet him with this strange mix of reverence and lust for power.
Man, look at that stallion. It's beautiful.
Deeply admiring Spirit, but wanting to control him for that very reason.
Come on, boys, let's go!
In a lot of other movies, we only get these very short, pure glory shots of the animal. I mean, it's only 15 seconds long in Lion King, and it's one of my favorite parts. But Spirit gives us entire scenes with very little dialogue, just dedicated to admiring the speed, strength.
Hold on. Let's bring that back.
Grace, but Spirit gives us entire scenes with very little dialogue.
Very little dialogue. Interesting. Interesting. So no quips, no like well that just happened. None of that crap. You mean you can totally have scenes in a movie where there's not any quippy crap going around back and forth? Interesting. Yeah, Spirit was really good. I liked the movie when I was a kid. But you mean to tell me that it doesn't have to be constant dialogue? This is kind of the issue I've seen pop up where they think that there needs to be dialogue. Even with our sphere, sometimes it's like people put so much weight and credit in dialogue, where some people would say, well, if they just had a line of dialogue here, a line of dialogue there, like no, lines of dialogue should be like dotting the I or crossing the T. Like everything that dialogue gives you should kind of be present in some way or form in the story already, to the point where you don't really have to have the dialogue there. It just helps explain things and kind of confirm things. Like the dialogue should be there to confirm things, not to create things. And if you do have to do that, it is the flimsiest level of credibility. Like if something is only in existence because of dialogue in your story, it's like the flimsiest level of credibility. Very cheap, very very flimsy, because you can miss it. If something's only there because of dialogue, it's like okay, well, it's you could forget about it. You could miss it. So if your main character gets his village burned by a dragon, right? If your main character gets his little village burned by a dragon, and then later on there's some guys like, hey, your village was destroyed by Armail, the Dragon King, who rules over the misty mountains, and he runs a giant army and repays him with his horde, that sort of thing. Then that's just like a confirmation of what we kind of already know and see. Especially if we see the army that fights for him and everything already. So it's kind of a confirmation. And we see it before, and it's what foreshadowing is for. Like we see like some guy blew up randomly, and we see people blow up or something, and the guy will later on go, oh yeah, there's a spell. There's these things are poisoned, and there's a spell, right? That activates something in the system that makes them pop like a balloon. They're like, oh, that's why it's happening. So that's kind of that's what dialogue is for. It's kind of for confirmation, for putting things forward as we need them to be seen, things like that. Anyway, chat. Anyway, yeah, look, this movie was great. I really liked this movie too. Some of the directors said this made me think of Balto. So it might be, yeah, the same kind of animation style, like good. Let's see, Icky says looked at Victor also named Reed's daughter after his dead mother or dead lover. I mean, there's a big difference there. It's a big difference. It's Jessica King says, I see Doomsday going in the way of Infinity War with the cliffhanger of bad guy winning, and the salvation moment of being Spider-Man, explaining the end credit scene in Brand New Day. Explaining the end credit scene. I could have watched this movie.
Just dedicated to admiring the speed, strength, grace, and vigor of this awesome creature. So when he decides to protect his tribe by leading the men away and is ultimately overwhelmed, it makes us feel sick to see him captured and enslaved.
I was scared. and I didn't know what was going to happen to me. But at least my mother and the herd were safe.
As they drag Spirit to the military fort, bucking all the way, think about what the movie is telling a young boy.
Don't judge a thing till you know what's inside it. Don't push me outside.
You should be so full of blazing inner fire that the world should have to struggle with all its might to put you out.
We don't need to have like a constant dialogue either. Basically, this scene is this show. You got there's noises and stuff, but the dialogue, any dialogue here is unimportant. Any dialogue here is ultimately unimportant. That's the idea, because it's just we're seeing what it is. We're seeing what's happening. We're seeing him being restrained and brought into a place to be broken. One of the last few remaining free stallions.
Here we meet our main villain, the Colonel, a man obsessed with control and dominance.
Sergeant,
Yes, sir.
tie this horse to the post. No food or water. 3 days.
Yes, sir.
After 3 days of deprivation, Spirit lacks the physical strength to resist, and our villain parades him around,
Move along, Mustang.
regaling us with his worldview, that, in essence, all men can be broken.
You see, gentlemen, any horse can be broken.
But as his speech concludes, Spirit dredges up his last bit of strength to throw him off. And I'm amazed by just how seriously older children's movies conveyed these very intense masculine ideals. I mean, look at this.
Soldier! Secure that horse!
Our protagonist standing defiant with a
So
pistol.
Megathon says, "Good morning, LD in chat. Overslept feels good to be on vacation." Well, hello to you, Megathon. I think you've earned that vacation. Awesome. Welcome.
In his face. As a boy watching this, I'm being told that your dignity as a man is so important it's worth dying for. His fellow prisoner, Little Creek, feels the same.
Oh, by the way, chat. This is a pretty good pause. It's all happy about it. But anyway, I've been thinking about having like an extra stream. We'll see how this goes. But an extra stream that I'll fit into the weekend or something like that. But it'll be Streamlabs exclusive, where like it's going to be the money that counts towards this will be Streamlabs. And my idea was, and it's not just money, so it's not just like here's some money. It's about if we can get like $100 all together during the week through Streamlabs for this particular stream. It'll be about looking over older media like the Golden Age of television, or introductions to anime. So like if the intro scenes or the introductions, what called intros, like the meme intro of Martial Muscle Magic. So it'll be your choice. So here's the idea I had. So in the description of the video, there is a link to Streamlabs. You can send a message, and a $10 message on Streamlabs. This send $10 or Streamlabs and say, hey, I want you to check out this anime or this show from Golden Age of television, and then we'll have a special stream where we do just that. Now I can't watch the show because it'll be on YouTube still, but we can check out the opening of one. So if you have an anime that you like or a show that you like and you want us to like look into it, discuss it, or see the intro of it, just like go to Streamlabs, send in $10. And we'll do just that. Well, I'll take a look at it. I'll line it up, and that's kind of what the stream will be. It'll be an extra stream. We kind of go over that, and it should be pretty fun. I think it'll be pretty fun. And when we get to like, we'll get 10 requests, which will be $100 in Streamlabs, and then the stream will. That's what will happen. It will come in. The stream will essentially be unlocked. And there we go, chat. So I had the idea. So if you want to participate, you can. You want to have a request, sent in. I think they're pretty fun. But this is an idea. See how it works. Let's see. Go let them get his grip on. I like it. Yeah, it's completely optional. But if you send a $10 tip through Streamlabs and say, hey, I want to check out this thing, this show, whatever it might be, then we'll do it. And then once we get $100 all together, Streamlabs via these requests, then we'll have the extra stream and we'll go over all of these. And pretty fun, I think. Anyway,
way, using spirit to risk a daring escape. Now, in the second act of the story, Spirit remains a prisoner.
so here's the thing about this old style animation stuff. Like, same thing goes with like El Dorado and what's the other one? Treasure Planet, stuff like that. A lot of these, they spend a lot of time just letting the scenes flow and breathe. That's kind of what happens with these. They spend a lot, like the whole. There's a whole segment there, right? Of in Treasure Planet between Jim Hawkins and Long John Silver, and what happens there is that they bond. There's like a whole segment with where they have a song. You know, the what was it the song where like we see his dad left and stuff like that, where like we get the parallel of Jim Hawkins' dad leaving, and then also adult Jim or grown up Jim bonding with Long John Silver. Like Long John Silver is teaching him all these things that his dad should have. You know, how to sail, how to mop, how to fix things, how to properly take care of himself. Basically, like he's Jordan Peterson to Jim Hawkins, but it's a very interesting, a very strong, very powerful moment of the movie. But there's no dialogue. Right? It's all done through visuals. But it's very powerful, well planned visuals. We can just see the movie, just watch the movie, and the song. We can listen to the song and watch the animation, and we can watch the people interact. We know exactly what's going on, and this happens in El Dorado. We can see the visuals. The visuals help sell the story, and Spirit. We have a lot of this in the Spirit. So these old school animations knew how to let the movie be a movie. We didn't need constant dialogue. We didn't need constant back and forth quippy nonsense. We didn't need jokes. We didn't need constant humor to alleviate us of the burden of misery or sadness or whatever it might be. You don't need Thor joking about how your arm might be in Valhalla. We don't need any of that. Anyway, Chad. Anyway, just thought it's so interesting what the techniques that have been lost over time. Not in like the last 100 years, but like the last couple of decades or so. This used to be how movies were made. We have interactions, we have dialogue, we have exchanges, we have story, but we also have these scenes that just allow the audience to breathe, allow the audience to just sit back and enjoy the film, and the quiet and not the quiet. But there is no dialogue really that's important going on. It's about letting us see the movie play out as a visual medium. And we can see the bond. We can see the freedom. We can see all these things. And instead of just having it told to us. I hear Samurai Jack opening montage was a good example. Yeah, Samurai Jack is a really good example. So we don't really like, we have the legendary Aku thing, right? We have the legendary Aku dialogue of long ago in a distant land, I, Aku, that sort of thing. So, after that, you can see what's happening while that's going on. You can see what's happening, right? It's not, you don't need Aku's dialogue to see what the story of Samurai Jack is. We can see that, Aku is evil, and Samurai Jack is coming in to fight him. And before Aku lost, he tore up in a portal of time. Like, it's just a confirmation. Like, Aku's dialogue is just a confirmation about what happened. And see, I hear the Samurai Jack opening montage. Very good example. But very much Alex Halo sent the first tip. First tip for my new proposal. How about watching Isekai Quartet movie? We can watch the opening of that. Watch the opening, but here's the thing. Maybe that might also be a good idea. Like if you want to. Oh, actually, that might. I don't know, because what if we get like 10 different requests? But yeah, I think we can have several different requests if we do a stream. We just watch like the intro or the trailer or something like that. Be pretty cool. But yeah, I'll mark that down. I've marked that on the list. Thank you very much, Alex Halo. Appreciate it. Yes. It's It doesn't have an opening song. I would watch the trailer then, or something like that, or maybe a little bit of it. But anyway,
Offered more freedom and dignity by the Lakota tribe, but captive nonetheless.
Steady. Steady. I'm not going to hurt you.
And so Little Creek becomes an interesting parallel to the Colonel. He's kind and gentle,
There you go. That feels better now, doesn't it?
but also unable to give up the idea that he can conquer spirit.
Today, I will ride you.
And so, after many failed attempts, we ultimately have this scene between them, which is something we rarely see between two men. This clear-eyed humility,
I'm never going to ride you, am I?
recognizing in spirit a strength even beyond his own.
And no one ever should.
There's almost nothing more difficult for a man than to look another man in the eyes.
You can go.
like humility, right? It's not about you fail as a man, because it's kind of what happens today. Because a lot of shows are influenced and run by women, and the thing is, I think people kind of even when you have like a woman as a friend or something like that, and they try to joke around like one of the boys, it's different. Like the boys know how to joke around with other boys, but if the girl comes in and she tries to be one of the guys, like her jokes are just mean. You know what happens? Like I heard a story recently about actually it was a Dinner of the Drake story where he talked about or he read a story by a guy where this exact thing happened, where there was a quirk chungus in the group, like she the quirk chungus, and she tried to joke around, you know, like you know, all groups of guy friends kind of insult each other, but you know, when she would insult them, she would be like, "Oh, you're a bunch of incel losers," as a joke, and I like that's not really how men joke with each other. That's like a truth men will say, like, "Man, you need to shape up, you need to lose weight, you need to cut your hair, like you need to shave, you dress better, like something like that." You're just going to be an incel loser. It's not, you know, the girls are not too picky. You're just not well kept together enough to look presentable. Like, you know, that's kind of the harsh truth that a guy would tell another guy. But that's her jokes. It's like you're a bunch of overweight fat incels. Like ha ha ha, and all the guys are supposed to be like ha ha ha. Thanks, I guess. So usually because usually women will go after your masculinity, will tear you down on on a manly level. Where when men make these jokes, it's about challenges. It's about things they know you're not. Like, oh, hey, bro, you're totally gay right now. Like, no, I'm not. Where, you know, the quirk chungus will make jokes trying to fit in with the guys and it'll be like, haha, you're fat. You're fat loser. So when a guy calls another guy fat, it's like, haha, you're fat. And like, yeah, bro, shut up. But when like a quirk chungus does it, it's like, it can't just be, haha, you're fat. It's like, you're going to die alone. No wonder your dad left you. It's always like something like that, where it's like really below the belt, way over the line, but it's like jokes and they don't understand it. So it's like, yeah, these quirk chungus types, these women try to like, you know, blend in with men, don't really understand how men operate or masculinity. They just don't. So it's the thing is they just don't, right? They just don't understand, and it's very noticeable. And it comes off as bullying, but this is kind of like the mindset that goes into modern day movies because they're run by women and for women and everything are made by women. It's very important that it's distinctive that they're made by women. Okay. And so when they have jokes at a guy's expense in a movie now that's made by a woman, it's not like a really funny joke. It's not like a guy telling a joke to the guy or a guy insulting another guy. It's about tearing the guy down. It's always, remember how the D&D movie, these women, you know, running the D&D movie were like, oh yeah, we like to emasculate our guys. That's what they're doing. Like, you're not supposed to emasculate. Like, no guy really emasculates his friend, right? That's what a bully does. Like guy friends will poke fun at each other, but they won't emasculate each other. Right? They won't tear down each other's dignity or respect. It's a very big difference between how brothers in a friendship operate and how a woman operates. And a woman will just instinctively operate on tearing down a man's masculinity, tearing down his respect, tearing him down as a person until he's a docile, quivering mound. Not the same. not the same. But they don't understand that. They're kind of just because they don't really know, because they're not guys. They don't really know how to do this in a way that is acceptable with men. And so when they try to do this, and then the men are like, "That's too far." Like, "Oh, why? Why is well, he told you this? How come it's not okay when I do it?" And it's because you did it wrong. You just did it wrong, and like they don't understand what they did wrong. But they, if you explain it to them, it's like, well, that's they don't see the difference. But it is different. It is very different. It really is. So it's very interesting how that works, but it is how it works. So that's kind of why modern movies are so cringe and so irritating, because it's like they have these female characters try to act like one of the men, try to act like one of the boys, and instead of giving a pretty good back and forth banter, some jokes, it's tearing guys down, it's emasculating them, which they think is funny and a joke and on the same level as two guys joking with each other, but it's not. All right, two men will always respect each other. Two guy friends will always respect each other, even at their lowest jokes. But when Quirk Chungus comes in, it's a tear down of your very being as a man, and it's very disrespectful. Usually, I resemble that remark. This is emasculation will make someone your nemesis, and yeah, even like if two guy friends started emasculating each other and started tearing down each other's respect, those are fighting words. That's how a guy knows that it's time to fight. Like it's hostility time, right? It's just an instinct. So fortunately, Quirk Chungus usually is a girl. So the men know that, okay, she doesn't know the code. She doesn't know how to do this. So we give her a pass. Or we don't say anything out of politeness. And that's exactly what happened in the Den of the Drake story. They kind of forgive her. They say, oh, well, just she doesn't really know. They're like, oh, thanks. Haha. Yeah. Like they laugh politely, but she's not really funny because she's emasculating these guys. And emasculation is not what's supposed to be the case. It's supposed to be respect, jokes, but with respect. Here's how it goes. And unfortunately, that's the very idea that not knowing that is what's been plaguing a lot of modern media, because not knowing that is where the characters coming off as mean or bitchy or bossy comes from, and they think this is how men operate. No, there is a way this works that they are not understanding and will never understand. Synthby says, guys is the concept women existing and masculating, asking for the chads out there who feel self-conscious about their fragile masculinity. No. Yeah, they like you to think that, because that's empowering. Because when they make a mistake and they feel humiliated, the fun thing is the way they make themselves feel better is like, oh, they just can't stand powerful women. It's usually how it goes. Like, it's a cope. It's a cope. It can't stand. This can't stand powerful women. It's always the cope. It's kind of like when Frasier goes, she doesn't like. Some girl breaks up with Frasier, and they go, "Oh, she's her loss." And then Frasier has to go, "Has it ever made you feel better at all? Has it ever worked?" And Niles has to go, "No." That's the same thing. This is the girl version. The girl version is, "Oh, he just can't stand strong, powerful women." Same thing. This on different ends. Same cope though. Same exact cope. That says you can have a woman who can play at being one of the guys so long as she grew up a tomboy. It's comfortable in her femininity and loves her man's masculinity. Yes. So if she grew up around boys and everything and kind of like knows the banter, then yeah, it's possible. But when a regular girl tries to step in and joke around with the guys, it doesn't turn out so well. It does not turn out so well. She usually ends up just emasculating her boyfriend or something, or emasculating the friend she's telling a joke to, and like we get that humiliating moment where everything goes quiet. It's like, whoa, you just said that. Is comfortable in her femininity and loves her man's masculinity, and most importantly, knows she's not a boy. Yeah, exactly. You can't, and as a woman, you can't really say things to a guy that a guy can say to a guy, because it's different. Same thing. A guy can't say things to a girl that a girl can say to a girl. It's very different, because it carries different meaning and different weight. A guy says, "Oh, you're ugly." He's like, "Haha, yeah, right." And if a girl says you're ugly, it's like, okay, it's a lot harsher. Hamilton Burger says, "I believe the emasculation comment from D&D movie actually came from one of the male screenwriters, John Francis DeLay." I could remember. I could have sworn it was like two girls. Like we love emasculating our men, but not in woke reasons. Not in a woke way. Like she had to clarify that wasn't in a woke way. But the thing is, it still comes off as that. Like you don't really need to. You don't really need to emasculate your main character. But that's where women tend to go. They can tend to go like, oh, how do we make him look foolish? Oh, we emasculate him, and we see this over and over and over again today. I mean, the D&D movie turned out to be a really good movie, but we don't really. No one really wants to see their main character emasculated unless it's by the villain. Like that's a villainous thing to do. That's how we know. Oh, this guy is emasculating our main character. This is a bad guy. Anyway, I'd say Jake Vogue says, LD, have you read Glory Road, a Robert A. Heinlein? It has been best takedown of a man who absolutely doesn't tolerate being berated as a stupid man by the princess. Would never see it in today's films. Yeah, it's kind of like I guess it's like the moment where like, you know, the guy stands up to one woman, like, I'm tired of you kind of demonizing all men. And that's kind of how it works, though. Like at one point, it's too much, and you have to fight back. You have to push back, even if she's a girl. That's how we know, because she keeps emasculating, keeps demeaning masculinity, keeps disrespecting you on that level. At some point, even against a girl or a woman, you have to take a stand and correct that behavior. It's just, you know, like Steve Trevor did. But they don't have that today. Usually the guy has to be very meek, very docile, and just let it happen, because any sort of aggressiveness or a man having standards or a man standing up for himself is too much. It's too scary.
And admit you see in them a strength even beyond your own.
That's how it's supposed to work. Like respect between two males, even though they're different species, of course, is respect between two men. And see, the Carmen Demigod, thanks for the $5 super chat.
Yes.
This is why I encourage young men to save enough money to move out of their mother's house. No one respects you if you still live at home, and the mother will not respect you as a man either. Like she'll take care of you, but she'll always see you as a little boy, and the mother will never ever really let you grow up. She wants you to grow up she wants you to be a man, but doesn't know how to. She'll just demean you and destroy your psyche, because the women only know how to tear down on a corrective level. And how are you corrected? By having your masculinity attacked. You're not man enough. You're terrible as a man. You suck as a man is what usually happens, right, from the perspective of a mother, where she's like, you're a terrible man. You need to be more like your father. Right? That's like some pushback every son receives, at least from the mother. It's usually how it goes. So this is the mindset. But a father is able to raise and initiate a young man into adulthood, into manhood, because he knows to respect the son, because he knows that, okay, here's what you did wrong, son. I know you can do better. All right. So we need to work a little bit more, but we can get better. All right. You're strong. You're doing really well, and that sort of thing. You're doing really well. Yeah. What you're doing is, I see the hard work that you're doing. We're not quite there yet, but you will get there. With enough practice, you will get there. As opposed to the mother going, "You suck as a this is not what your father would do. You suck." You know, that sort of thing. You're not living up to your father's example, like this, which is not helping anybody at all. But this is why, like, the mother will never let the son grow up, because she will always see him as her little boy. I mean, that's like a trope in movies and TV shows, and it's been that way for years. Like, I always see you as my little boy, where the father will always respect his son as a man. Very big difference. Let's see.
Now, just as Spirit seizes his freedom, the Lakota village is attacked by the Colonel's men. Although Spirit saves Little Creek, the woman he loves is wounded. So, refusing to leave her side, Spirit is captured one last time, and we enter the third act of the story. Here we find out Spirit is not invincible. Even for this masculine ideal, this mythical hero, there's a certain amount of misery that eventually makes the world feel like such a dark and hostile place that we just stop fighting it, and our inner fire goes out. And once that happens, it's easy to forget we ever...
This is demoralization. This is Spirit has had all of his IPs ruined by wokeness. Like, oh man, this sucks.
had that fire in the first place.
There's not a road I know that leads to anywhere.
But what's unique about these myths, these stories of our ideals, is that they demand from us the absolute most that a human being can give. So Spirit gets one train ride to indulge in surrender, and then he's expected to begin to build back up the fire within himself.
Yeah, you're a soldier now, fighting in a battle.
I think something very dangerous has happened to our generation in the absence of stories like this.
Come on.
By the way, check this out.
Fighting in a battle.
I think something very dangerous has
Oh,
You're a soldier.
indulged in surrender, and then he's expected to begin to build back up the fire
like this is like them trying to corral a masculine man, right?
within himself.
Yeah, you're a soldier now.
And look at these guys are just like the other docile broken horses that are just soy boys. Like, yeah, they're in the corral. They kind of, oh, it's oppressive and to be aggressive, right? It's wrong to be this way. We got to be docile. We got to be submissive. That's the way to survive and live. Look, they're all happy. Like, all right, look, welcome, brother. Welcome to the soy side.
I think something very dangerous has happened to
Very telling. Spirit's a pretty interesting movie.
our generation in the absence of stories like this.
Is the story of them trying to tame and destroy masculinity.
Come on.
Because masculine men are dangerous.
Come on now. It'll be all right. Come on. That's
We've become so disconnected from the sacredness of life, our own and that of others, that we've decided there is not always something worth fighting for. But as myth used to tell us,
And this is Wall says, why am I thinking of Jack when you said that mom will always see their son as a little boy, considering how she treated him as any wonder how his character turned out? Yeah. It's why, every son, at least son, needs a father. Every girl needs a father too. Father is very important for the family. It's been demeaned because the father has been kind of relegated to this like provider, which is one of the roles, yeah, but it's not all the roles. Right, the father is the mentor, the guide to all of his children, boys and girls. So the idea that society has relegated the man to just provider is like, well, we can get rid of him then because men are obsolete. He's I can get the money I need from the government. I don't really need the husband. Kind of complete discounting the other side of the situation, because we also think that only the mother can raise kids, right? So that's kind of why the mother always gets the kids usually. In divorce settlements or whatever, because they like, no, the mother raised the kids, right? Yes, but not the teenagers, not the adults. The mother should, technically speaking, the best case scenario probably be like the mother gets the kids, but once they get to a certain age, then they go to their dad. That would be the case, because the father teaches the son to grow up to be a man, and the father teaches his daughter to grow up to be respectful, to respect herself, so she doesn't go off being a whore. Which is a bad thing, really bad thing. Not just like because it offends God or something like that, because it's psychologically damaging. It really is. It's demeaning yourself. It's basically self-harm in a psychological kind of way. But yeah, the mother will always see her kids as kids. The mother will definitely always see her son as a little boy, which is why when you leave a son with a single mother, what happens? He becomes like a neckbeard, right? He gets what he wants. He gets coddled. He gets his feelings validated constantly, instead of the father going, now son, I know you want to sit here and play video games all day, but you need to build character, right? The mother will demean him and then also coddle him. The father will provide a healthy obstruction. Right? It's also in the Hero of a Thousand Faces. Healthy obstruction. He's the first guy to go, okay, I'm taking you out of here, son. You're not going to be playing video games all day. I'm taking you over here, and you're going to get a job. You're going to come with me to work. That's the ideal version. The father takes the son to work. Or you're going to go out for football. You're going to go out for sports, something like that. My dad made me take kickboxing. It was awesome. So I took kickboxing for years and earned my black belt and some trophies. So, that's kind of where they threw me into. and it was better. I was better for it. Absolutely. That and traveling to different states and stuff like that to attend very high level seminars. There was also that. Well, it was pretty cool, but I was better for it. That's what the dad does. Dad's like the mom will let him will nag at him, but still let him play video games all day. And it's like, as long as you do this, as long as you do that. Meanwhile, the dad would be like, "Hey, get up, son. We're going to work. Right? I need you to help me build this tree house." What it might even just be a regular project, but it would be a project that he has to force his son to do or demand his son to do. And later on, and of course, this causes some resentment. This causes some anger issues. Maybe some like, I can't believe my dad made me do this. And this is also incorporated into the hero's journey. It's called the reconciliation with the father, because when you're young, when you're learning, you'll resent him for this. You resent him for taking away from your video games and your cartoons and your chicken tendies and thrusting you into a workforce or sports or something. And later on, you'll come to realize, wow, that was better for that. Thank you, Dad. I was better off doing that. No, it's really easy to think that the dad was actually evil. So it's like the Darth Vader thing. We're like, okay, we are enemies now. We reconciled, but usually it's not that. It's not. You don't have to be enemies with your dad. It's kind of like you just have resentment against him, and then later on you realize what he was doing for you was healthy and good and made you a better person, a better man. But anyway. Let's see, Chad. Why am I thinking of Jax when you said that mom will always see him as a little boy? Yeah, because I was like, because Jax had a single mom, no father, I don't think. So, yeah, it's no surprise how that turned out. Because I mean, what happens, right? This is exactly what happened. I was talking about where the mom will just degrade you as a man, as a boy, as her son. When you do wrong or when she doesn't like what you're doing, she'll just degrade you on a masculine level. And that really messes up some guys on a psychological level. There's always the mother complex. The serial killer will just be angry with his mom. Usually what happens, because she just destroys his psyche. It's kind of what happens, especially when he's older. And she's expecting him to act like a man, and he just has no idea how to do so. So that's kind of how that happens and why there's so much aggression eventually. There's so much of it. Wondering how his character turned out. Yeah. Let's see. Ivy is tired. Hello to you. Thanks too. Says no message, just supporting. Thank you very much. Ivy is tired. Very much appreciated.
Nice.
There we go, chat. So, gonna update this. Fantastic. All right, come on. There it is. All right. Like Rice says, imagine how an Amazon would, like Wonder Woman or otherwise, would raise their son. Assuming he didn't strangle him in the crib for being born a male, of course. Yeah, assuming that. Yeah, I think DC Amazons. So that's kind of how that goes. Where it's like, yeah, if they didn't strangle him, I think the Amazons would do a better job than a regular woman would, because they do have respect in the warrior ways. But my guess would still be that they still chastise each other based on that sort of that level. So if they have a man around, they're going to chastise him based on his masculinity. I mean, could you imagine? Even Wonder Woman was like, "Yeah, men suck." Men, like she was the most open minded of the Amazons, and Steve Trevor still had to lay down the law about all that. And see. All right, chat. All right. Well, there we go. Indeed. See, Shadow Tronic says, what if video games is your job, designer, tester, streamer? I mean, if you have to leave the house or something, if you're in meetings, like if you have to show like signs. If you're just sitting in your room playing video games all day, your mom's like, no one's really going to respect that. Even if you make a lot of money, like if was it a Ninja had like a big following, but does anyone really respect him? He's just really good at playing one video game. He made millions of dollars, but does anyone really respect him other than like have a following? I don't think so. It's not really respectable unless you're like going out there to design things and create things. Like game design is a little bit different than just playing games, right? So designer, tester, things like that, like this being creative. You're crafting something. But as far as like being like just a video game streamer goes, it's probably not a really respectful thing, at least from your mom's point of view. So, or your parents' point of view. It's a Alex Halos for the $5 super chat. Thank you very, very much. It's a Alex Halo says, I was taken out of sports because I would keep getting a terrible sunburn all over in the summer and couldn't play anyway. It's a that does happen, yeah. Like if you don't, I guess you're not used to staying outside too much. Yeah, if you're outside a lot suddenly for playing sports, you can totally get sunburn. It does suck. It's happened to me before. It's yeah, just the weight of your shirt starts like just irritating it. Your skin peels off. It sucks. But anyway,
in no uncertain terms, so long as a single living being still suffers, we just don't get to give up. I know it's a lot to ask of men, to defend your own inner fire from your enemies, from friends you're afraid to trust, and even from yourself, then to risk it all over again and again, for someone else. But as we've known forever, and tried to teach to young boys in our myths, our connections, our duty to others,
Take care of her. Spirit, who could not be broken,
are the very thing that forges our fire in the first place.
there we go. Yeah, just I never thought of it before, but yeah, spirit is kind of like a parallel to masculinity, at least today, where the system really wants to destroy your masculinity, wants to bring you to heel. And bring you down to like the other domesticated soy boys around you. And isn't the whole title of that movie The Last Cimarron or something like that? Spirit, the last the Cimarron or something like that, where he's kind of the last of the free horses out there, last stallion or something. And that's kind of what it is today, right? It's like the masculine men are in high demand, but very, very, very low supply because everyone is being kowtowed, everyone is being broken. Things like that. And masculinity is kind of harder to come by. Everyone is a soy boy. Everyone wants to bend the knee to the society around them. They want to comply. They want to be woke and hip and all that stuff. They want to be on the right side of history. Things like that. Anyway, chat. Let's get down to business with the real life fake wizard video. Let's check it out, chat. Check it out together. Here we go. So this one is called Morally Gray Writing is Anti-Human. It is. Yeah, Stallion the Cimarron. I could have sworn there was like some level of finality in the title, though. Maybe I misremembered, but I could have sworn like it was something about he was the last one or the last few remaining free horses or something like that. Or maybe that was just the movie. Maybe the movie said that. That he was one of the last of his kind, of his type. But yeah, if that's in there, then I think that's very telling. Parallel to today's masculinity, where society at large, the controlling mechanism of our society really wants to domesticate men because masculine men are very dangerous.
I'm the real life fake wizard. July 31st, 2026 saw the release of Spider-Man Brand New Day, and throughout the film, Sadie Sink's Jean Grey character throws people off of rooftops, walks a man into oncoming traffic, hijacks people's minds and bodies as if they're rental cars, and uses Zendaya's MJ as a puppet so she can torture Peter Parker in the most personal way that she could invent, which resolves with throwing Zendaya off a rooftop too. Now, the cost for all of this is that Jean is trying to find her sister. That's the justification. Her sister was taken by a government agency after being caught mind-jacking people to do things against their will, of which, we're told earlier in the film, is a nightmarish experience for the hijacked person who loses complete control of their mind and body and can't remember anything upon waking up, but they do know that they lost
hold on 1 second.
Nightmarish experience by a government agency after being caught mind-jacking people to do things against their will, of which, we're told earlier in the film, is a nightmare.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, this today, as I've said before, is like today's version of morally gray is equivalent to some D&D player making a chaotic neutral character because they really want to make an evil character, but they didn't want the stigma that went along with it. We're back in the day when writing was a lot better, we'll say. People knew how to make morally gray characters. Like to me, a morally gray character is someone who is trying to be a good guy. Like he's trying to be a good guy, but in a harsh world. Like it's going to be like the world makes him, like the world pushes him against his will. Well, maybe sometimes against his will, maybe not, but the world pushes him to extreme lengths, and that's where the moral grayness comes from. Because you kind of need to add in a little darkness and a little white together to make the morally gray stuff, right? So to me, like Jack Bauer would be a pretty good example of morally gray. That guy is essentially a white knight. That guy is loyal. He's really skilled in combat. He's very self-sacrificing. He's essentially a good guy, very, very good guy. But the world at large is so dark and evil and demanding. And every conflict has to be resolved in 24 hours, that sometimes he has to make these really, really tough decisions. And those decisions might not be the kindest or most honorable. I think that's what it is. I think that's how morally gray should be written. Is the main character is actually a good guy, but the circumstances push him to make a tough choice where he has to act in a less than honorable manner. And it comes down to the idea of, okay, do I keep my honor? Do I keep my self-respect? Do I keep keep to the ways of being a good guy, or do I let the world explode? That's kind of literally what kind of maybe not literally, but that's pretty close to what Jack Bauer goes through every single season. Okay, I can either do this cruel thing and get it over with, or I can let the world explode. I can let the bomb go off or whatever. I can let my family get executed. This is the kind of choice he's making, right? And he's also under a time limit where, like, okay, he doesn't really have the luxury of time to waste. And where else do we see this? Oh yeah, Benjamin Sisko from DS9. And one of the most famous episodes of the entire series, which is The Pale Moonlight, where his whole thing is about him feeling so guilty. He's like this, he has to talk about it. He has to make this log of his plan that went awry, trying to bring the Romulans into the war against the Dominion, right? And it's like he's trying to trick the Romulans by making this false data record and it's like really, really like this tight and it's very unlikely that it's going to be false and everything. He's got that data rod from Cardassia, right? Where it's like you can only record on it once. It cannot be altered. And they're not mass produced. They're like well documented and well made. Like it's impossible for me to even have one of these. And even then the guy's like, it's a fake. But even then, Garrick was like, I knew he would say that. I knew he would see through it. So I planted a bomb on his ship. And now Sisko didn't sign off on that. Garrick kind of acted on his own, but the whole idea in the first place was pretty scummy, right? It's pretty morally gray, right? Where he's like, yeah, I'm going to trick an entire faction into sending its people to die against the Dominion. That's pretty morally gray. Again, it works. This moral grayness works because Sisko, on any given day, tries to be a good person. He tries to be the moral guy. He tries to take the higher road on any given day. But again, just like with Jack Bauer, the circumstances of his scenario are so filled with pressure. The circumstances of his scenario are just so pressing that it's like, okay, what do I do? Do I just sit here and watch all my friends die slowly and watch the entire Federation get conquered by the Dominion, watch the Klingons get destroyed and let the Dominion take over, and me leaving the Romulan Empire as the one untouched place in the universe or the Alpha Quadrant? Or do I make a move, the only move I can make, which is to bring the Romulans into the war somehow, which they're not going to do unless they believe they have been betrayed by the Dominion. That is the only way. And so Cisco puts that plan into place. Like, I can either die, I can either let ourselves die, or I can trick the Romulans into play. And so he chooses that area. But any given day of the year, he's trying to be a good person. He's trying to be a good person. He's only ever pushed to moral grayness when it's like there's no other circumstance. He can either uphold his like lawful good nature, or you can get the job done. Then it comes down to it. Cisco is more willing to get the job done than to be a good guy all the time. So that's probably one of the big differences between Cisco and some other Starfleet captains. But to me, that's how you write morally great characters. Right. Another example, which might be a little more iffy, is Marv from Sin City. Now, Marv kind of delights in torturing people. He kind of is a sadistic kind of killer, but he happens to be a guy with a heart of gold. And so he goes around and he defends the weak. He avenges, the whole story is about avenging Goldie, a woman who showed him a tiny bit of love and affection, even though it was under some, even at the most pure circumstances. She only did that so that she only slept with Marv so that he would protect her, which he unfortunately couldn't do because the guy was the bad guy was a really quiet assassin type. So what ends up happening is he goes on this rampage of revenge just to avenge her spirit. To avenge that one moment of kindness is what caused him to go off on this rampage of revenge that ended up with his death. But I say he's morally gray because that's Sin City. Sin City is a constant state of high pressure situation, this high demanding of moral fortitude. So either Marv can be the good guy or he can get revenge. That's kind of the whole thing here, right? It's kind of the whole question that he has. That's kind of the last thing that he ever does. They say, okay, we're going to pin all this crap on you, right? We're going to all the missing prostitutes, the murder. I think like there's some other heinous crimes. Like, you sign this and we'll you sign this and we'll leave everyone alone or something like that. He made that deal and he got killed by the system. But everything turned out, but he had to make that choice in the end. Killed by the system. The bad guys kind of won, but he ended up getting revenge after all. And he did get one last moment with Goldie's sister. It's a really good touching moment too, where he calls her Goldie, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll say, okay, Marv, you can call me Goldie." It's a pretty good moment, really good moment. So that's where moral greatness comes from. Like, he is good, like Cisco is good, but to me, that's how morally gray has to be written. Like, if you want to get proper morally gray, not the cringy morally gray you get today, it's a guy who always tries to be good. And then the circumstances kind of drive him to not be good and to make these questionable decisions, because otherwise the end result is very, very unfavorable. Let's see. Alex Halo-Stu's Accelerator also tries to be good and fails at it. Yeah. So I can understand people not liking Cisco because of his choices. And he's not like Picard. Picard always chooses to be morally good. He always chooses to be the lawful, upstanding guy, even though he's not nice all the time. I think even Kirk does this. Like, even Kirk is more on the good guy side than anything. So the thing is, when it comes down to how to properly write morally gray writing, morally gray characters, it's not really about the character itself. It's more about a series of moments that like Jack Bauer will be a good guy, an honorable guy, but when it comes down to it, he will make the decision to do a cruel thing in order to save the world. And I think that's where the morally gray comes from. It's a good guy who sometimes does bad things, and this is where you sometimes get an anti-hero. And isn't an anti-hero the very face of morally gray? That's exactly what an anti-hero does. An anti-hero is a hero that does bad guy stuff sometimes. It's like an anti-villain is a villain that does good guy stuff sometimes. Like Zuko. Zuko, by the way, is pretty much the character that invented the idea, or at least popularized the idea of the anti-villain. Like, they kind of named the beast because of Zuko. That's kind of what it is, though. An anti-hero is a hero that does bad guy stuff sometimes, and an anti-villain is a villain that does good guy stuff sometimes. That's how you get redemption arcs. Anyway, Chad. Anyway, to me, that's kind of how Morley Gray was very fitting, very cool, very interesting, as opposed to today, where it's just about some guy really wanted to make an evil character, but decided not, but didn't want the stigma of an evil character.
Nightmarish experience for the hijacked person who loses complete control of their mind and body and can't remember anything upon waking up, but they do know that they lost.
It's a Duck Rice. You're saying Marv's story is a twin sister double feature before he goes out? Yes, worth it. I mean, he doesn't sleep with the sister, but she does thank him and say, "You can call me Goldie," essentially. So, but yeah, Goldie, one of the highest rated, I guess, prostitutes or escorts in the city, has a twin sister. A twin sister who wants to get revenge for her sister's death.
Control for that duration of time. So, this is a form of torture. Jean and Sarah Gray are essentially torturing people. The culture surrounding this movie, when faced with the fact that Jean Grey has tortured, crippled, and attempted to murder people throughout the film, has been met online with attempted justification from some, but more so, that Jean isn't actually good or evil. This iteration is morally gray. She's a morally gray character, and perhaps this version of the X-Men, the upcoming X-Men, I mean, will be morally gray too. The problem is that she isn't. Jean Grey here is not morally gray. This depiction is just plain evil, but Hollywood doesn't see the difference, either by choice or because it helps further their belief system to the masses that there is no more good, there is no more evil, there is just morally gray, a sticky subcenter where everything is actually based on the desires and feelings of the individual in each moment, rooted in a desire for oneself. And if everyone is morally gray, if we as human beings are all morally gray creatures, then choosing to do the right things by ourselves and each other, well, it no longer has any meaning. Sitting on the fence seems like wisdom, because why live any other way, right? There is no meaning on either side if we're all morally gray, except what's very funny about that, and for fence sitters, is that sitting on the fence is a choice, but the choice of supposed neutrality is not wisdom.
There we go. Zuko is but one of many modern anti-villains in fiction because there are others who came before him. Same rule applies to anti-heroes. Yes, there are tons of them. But we really got the idea of the term anti-villain from Zuko. Like, we really kind of put that question in a lot of people's minds. But it's kind of like the hero's journey thing. Like, Joseph Campbell made the monomyth. Like, he kind of put together and collected the information and formed the idea of the monomyth. He did not invent it. He just named the beast. The monomyth / hero's journey has always been around since the beginning. And that was kind of his point. That we've always had the monomyth. We've always had this one prevailing story that everyone kind of goes through in one form or another. It just takes different forms. But he did not invent it, but he just named it. And like, it's kind of the same thing here with Zuko, where Zuko kind of came along and pointed out very distinctly that there is a new archetype, there's a different archetype of beyond anti-hero, villain, and hero. There's an anti-villain too. I think some might have called him like a sympathetic villain or something like that. But the anti-villain as a term, I think, was really popularized by Zuko. He did not invent it. They did not invent it for Zuko. He wasn't the first anti-villain. But it really came with the idea of that being a separate term really came into being because of Zuko and the question it put in everyone's mind. So I think at least he was part of the beast being named. But he did not invent it. It's a Moral Knight says, wait, she is gray right there. It's her name. They might just rename her they should just rename her morally gray. Let's see. Jacob always says, Batten is sometimes more like, yes, sometimes he is. That's kind of the nature of that's why his stories tend to be kind of dark. Because sometimes he does have to go into that realm, right? The Dark Knight, Nolan's Dark Knight movie, had Batman had to use that sonar thing to spy on everybody to the point where Lucius Fox was like, wait, there's no way I'm letting you keep this. Like, either this goes or I go. So that was a more of the great moment where he was pushed to such a desperation that he had to like really break this ethical code of like destroying everyone's privacy and like kind of installing a Big Brother style surveillance network, which is crazy tyrannical. And so afterwards, that's why he destroys it afterwards. But it was still very, very much a morally gray moment for Batman in the Nolan trilogy.
It's worse.
Now, again, to me, morally gray does not count when it comes down to him letting Ra's al Ghul die. I was like, okay, you don't really have to save him, right? You don't really have to save him.
Okay, so if this was just one messy Spider-Man plot, we could shrug it off and go home, right? It wouldn't matter as much because it would just be a one-time thing, but this has been going on for many years now. If we look at something like A Song of Ice and Fire, George R.R. Martin's writing style is one of moral grayness, that people are not all good and not all evil. That translated to the Game of Thrones show, which captured the attention of the entire...
All right, see, Chad, we got a guest in the back room. Let's see who this could possibly be.
Don't talk to me. I know you're a pervert under there.
Yeah.
And welcome Stu of the Stu Crew.
Good morning. How do I sound?
Pretty good, pretty good. We've been talking about morally gray, and I had a whole spiel about why I think morally gray is today versus why I think morally gray was supposed to be.
Ooh, yeah, hit me. I love morally gray. Oh, I got a whole series talking about the morality of certain characters, guys. I think.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think that's neat. I like talking about morality, even in the most basic of simple, silly terms. It's good shit.
Well, yeah. So basically, what it boiled down to summarize it is like the morally gray today is basically just like I want to make an evil character. My character's chaotic neutral, Stu, not evil.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a character that's evil without the stigma of evil. What it's supposed to be is a good guy whose circumstances push him to do kind of morally questionable things.
Yeah.
My examples were Jack Bauer, Mar from Sin City, and Captain Benjamin Sisko. But anyway,
that's good shit.
Pretty good stuff.
Or west. But you know something interesting about the show? If you look at the ending, and I'm kind of just realizing now as I'm making this video, many of the aspects that were hated...
And see, Alexander Stu says, Stu, you missed LD watching Zane versus Jaden yesterday. That's true.
Oh, and Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, we got to the end of the second season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Yeah, that's cool. Boy, I was in Chicago this weekend, just busy. And now I'm going to Texas next week.
Going to Texas.
I'm going to Texas. So if anyone is in Texas, listen, like all of Texas is just directly next door to each other. It's a very short drive everywhere in goddamn Texas.
Everyone knows, very small state.
Very small state. It does not take very long to get from one city to another. Like Houston to Austin is not longer than my average travel to a show. And I'm traveling from fucking I'm gonna say Northwest Ohio all the way down to Round Rock, Texas. That is going to take me 2 solid days. I have to start tomorrow evening, stop at a friend's place in Lexington, and then do I think I got to tank a 14-hour drive to Round Rock, and that's gonna be a day.
It's a perfect. It's a comic. Yeah, everyone knows that if your state is large enough to make a waffle out of the shape, it's small. The comic whiz says George R. Martin is proven time and time again to be wrong with his assumptions of morality. Saying there can't be completely good or evil characters is not only very short-sighted, but narrow-minded. Yeah, because there are good... And the thing is, what makes it worse, though, is that it doesn't stop there. It's... When he wants to make a good character, like Ned Stark, he's always like, oh, they're going to die because they're too good to live in this world.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
That's really funny.
So, it's like he makes a good guy, they're going to die because they're too stupid. They're too lawful stupid to live.
About the Game of Thrones ending?
It's so disingenuous. Like, it's so bullshit. Like skill issue,
You don't have to be just because you're good does not mean you're stupid. That's kind of like assuming that because assuming good people are stupid because they're good. That's kind of what that means, or what he thinks about good people.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that, though. Like, just because you're good does not mean you're stupid. You can be good and trusting, and you can also be optimistic. But the optimism has its limits. It's like, okay, I'm going to basically being good means I'm going to treat you fairly. I'm going to treat you kindly. I'm going to treat you with respect until it's time to not treat you with respect anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the difference is. right? Like the idea of the good guy in modern day media is that he's always good to the point where he must always carry the same view of people despite how evil they have been.
Mm-hmm.
Like Superman is supposed to treat Lex Luthor the same, or sometimes oddly enough even better than he would a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. No, like Superman should treat Lex Luthor like he's evil. That's what he should. Like if Lex Luthor is in peril and his family is in peril, he should save his family first,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to Lex Luthor. Like if he can only save one person and there's no way around it, he should save his family and let Lex Luthor die.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not upset about Batman letting Ra's al Ghul die in Batman Begins. Like, yeah, just let him. You're not killing him. His choices led him to this road, right? It's like the Anton Chigurh thing. Like this is the road that this is the end that your road has led you.
Mm-hmm.
So your choice, Ra's al Ghul. You weren't put here because of some incident of fate. You're put here because you chose to be put here. So yeah, Batman doesn't have to save you.
Was rooted in a pursuit of moral grayness. For years, audiences watched Jaime Lannister pursue a kind of redemption. Those audiences grew to like Jaime as a character because they wanted to see him become a hero. They wanted to see him choose goodness after having done so much bad.
You can really tell when the Benioff people, like Benioff and Weiss, kind of took over because suddenly every man became a simp. Suddenly, Brianna Tarth comes in, like this giant woman comes in. Everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, a giant woman!" They're all fawning over her. I know maybe like one or two dudes might be like that, but every guy has to display. Oh, she's so awesome and great. It's something with suddenly all the women became this like divine beings that all men worship. It's like it's pretty cringe.
And also questionable. He did a lot of questionable. All of that is undermined when the showrunners decided to have him return to Cersei, knowing he will die a less than heroic death. For those audiences excited for heroic redemption, they felt as though they were robbed. And they were. All in the name of subversion. Daenerys, too. I mean, personally, I saw it coming in season 1. I did not think she was going to be good in the end, but her shift to being bad is so rushed in those final moments. Are there hints that she could be a tyrant like her father? Of course there are, but they are only just hints meant to develop her as someone who is capable of overcoming the temptations of tyranny found in her lineage. Remember here, this is Game of Thrones. There are fans of the show who are rooting for Daenerys that name their children after the character. People got tattoos of these characters.
Yeah.
Many viewers were rooting for
I told
Daenerys.
you guys that one of my old colleagues messaged me the other day saying that he finally got a Khaleesi in class.
Yeah, because it's not stopping at tattoos. There's children being named Khaleesi for some reason. Like, of all the names, I guess it's lucky they're not being named Cersei. I mean, has he had any Cerseis yet?
Not that I know of, but also Cersei is, the witch
Odyssey
in the
well.
Odyssey. So like that one, I find a little less egregious, but I would not name my daughter Cersei.
Yeah, me neither. It's because she's evil in any iteration. She's evil in every universe, Stu.
Yeah,
Oh.
I love you in every universe.
But man, I imagine your name being Khaleesi. Like, Mom and Dad, where the hell did you get this stupid fucking name from? Imagine that episode of Frasier where Roz comes in and she's like talking about her hairdresser named Naj, and Frasier's like, Naj. His name is Naj. He's like, I could never find anything to talk about him with. I was like, how about this? Naj, where'd you get such a stupid name?
Yeah,
that's why I assume the eventual conversation will be like with their kids named Khaleesi, like Mom and Dad. Mom.
Yeah.
If her name is Khaleesi, I'm pretty sure there's no dad in the picture. Like, Mom, why'd you name me this stupid fucking name from? Everyone's mocking me. This is crazy. What the hell? It doesn't even remotely sound African. So why am I named this?
Good in the end, even if she didn't get the throne. Having her swap into a tyrant in the final moments of the series, sure, could be choked up to bad writing without enough setup. We can have that debate separately, yes, but contextually, the tyrant swap thrives inside moral grayness. If she's morally gray, then she has an excuse. She's just serving her desires in that moment, and perhaps she's not all bad,
It's
right?
well, I mean, Zelda's an actual name. Oddly enough, I know it's like it's been popularized by the Legend of Zelda, but like what's his name? The guy that wrote
My
Great
grandmother
Gatsby.
knew a Zelda. Yeah.
The
Zelda.
wife of the guy that wrote Great Gatsby, his name is Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda Fitzgerald, I think, or something like that.
Let's see. What's the guy's name? F. Scott Fitzgerald. Yeah, F. Scott Fitzgerald. I know it's like, is it Fitzgerald? But yeah, F. Scott Fitzgerald. I think his wife's name is Zelda. Or that's an actual name. It wasn't just made for a fantasy series.
Yeah, except not all bad in this case is a smokescreen, mostly for bad writing. Moral grayness, sold as sophistication, allows the writers to have their cake and eat it too, but it is sugary. They get years of people rooting for Daenerys like she can rise above her bloodline. Jaime Lannister, too, can rise above his past, but then the writers torch the city and murder the innocents while calling it complexity, realism, and subversion. Regardless of if the viewer...
Yeah, that's just evil. See, that's where she's like torching the city.
Mm-hmm.
That's just madness and evil. That's not morally complex. That's madness. That's why I said, like, in a true morally gray situation is more along the lines of
duration. Asian. We went Asian for a second there.
I mean, look, I'm looking. I was influenced by what I see.
Homosexual.
A true morally gray situation is more along the lines of, I'm a good guy forced to do something less morally great. You know, there's less morally clean by my circumstances, as opposed to just, I just want to kill everybody. That's just evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, well, in Darkness Rising, that the gamers, Darkness Rises, everyone's like, no, you're not being morally gray. You're not chaotic neutral. That's just evil. Like, you just killed a guy for no reason. That's not chaotic neutral. That's evil.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's probably what like a neutral character should be like. Is like, I'm basically a good person. You kind of have to fit into society unless you're insane. But like, I'm a good person that does questionable stuff sometimes because of circumstances. I'm willing to do that.
Wanted Daenerys to be a hero or a villain in the end, which is something the writers promise will happen. More on that part in a moment. But regardless of what the viewer wanted or was promised, the writers sucker punched everybody and then said this way of storytelling is more mature.
Yeah, because that's kind of the philosophy of Benioff and Weiss, I think, is like this. They don't really think ahead. It's more like, what would be a cool twist here that'll get everyone's jaw dropping. What can we do next that'll get everyone going, oh my goodness, that just happened. That's kind of their way of writing. They don't really think things through. That's how you know they're not actual writers. Because George R. R. Martin would think things through for the most part. But Benioff and Weiss were like, what's the next thing we could do that'll get everyone, that'll get tabloids and news articles and people going, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next? What can we do now? Khaleesi destroys the city. I don't the dragon. It's something like that. So that's kind of the writing style. It's very new age style of writing where we don't really care about the circumstances or the planning or anything of that. Just the next thing that's going to make everyone's jaw drop.
All of you who are disappointed are just childish. See, writers throughout all of history make promises to their audiences. I think this is partially rooted in how we determine if something we experience, like a show.
See, by the way, Miso Honey says, thank you through Streamlabs, says, speaking of Zelda LD, if there's time we could watch one of those Zelda Legend of Lunk animations by Cyanide and Happiness. It's basically Link if he was the barbarian from Dungeon Soup. That sounds pretty funny. I do like Dungeon Soup. That's pretty funny.
Or a movie is good or bad. We are comparing the experience we have to the unspoken promises that a writer makes when they ask you to experience their work. Anton Chekhov put...
I think Lunk might actually be from a Nintendo Power thing. Because my friend had Nintendo Power, and there was like something about Lunk peeing in the pool and getting killed by chickens or something.
What?
Like, it was like a really funny like little Zelda spoof in, I think, Nintendo Power, where it's about Lunk pees in some sort of like great fairy pool and gets killed.
It bluntly more than a century ago, and now he's immortalized in writing philosophy. If you hang a rifle on the stage, it must go off. You must display a reason for it. Making a promise you don't mean to keep is wrong because it's a betrayal of the audience's time and their emotion and their emotional investment. Stories, and I mean all stories, have setups and payoffs. The setup is not free for audiences. As we just said, audiences commit emotional investment, time, and sometimes money towards the setup of stories. And all is done so on the promise that these setups will eventually be paid off later when the ending inevitably arrives. Brandon Sanderson teaches this as promise, progress, payoff. You promise early.
Yep, that's what it is. Like usually, he kind of sidesteps the whole discussion of the hero. What happened next in the hero's journey? Is like, you know what? Not everyone's going to understand this or like this. So, because it's kind of complex to understand the nuances of the hero's journey. It's a little bit like, what does this mean? What does that mean? It's why everyone's like, what this sucks. I hate the hero's journey. So, he kind of boils it down to promise, progress, and payoff, which is essentially the hero's journey, but a more palatable presentation.
I think it's just teaching basic cause and effect. Like, the thing is, people have been cooked so hard with subverting expectations that, like, they don't even understand what it's being ironic over. They just think that, like, this is how it is. Like, whenever they encounter something even remotely competent, like, it feels amazing. And it's like you said, even if you deconstruct it, you've got to reconstruct it. And like to toot my own horn, the Waifu Handbook is a deconstruction and reconstruction of fantasy TTRPG tropes.
Like just did you know the Santa Claus is the god of my world?
Yeah, and it's and by the way, I can incorporate Earth too. Like, that kind, like it's that kind of like kooky storytelling. It's like, all right, why is your stupid fantasy world better than others' fantasy worlds? It's like, oh, mine actually makes a lot of sense if you squint at it and if you think like a madman.
Exactly. We got everything here. I think it should be good. And caught up. It's Dark Rises for fuck sure. It's getting old, but it can be done well. Literally no one in Hollywood. It can be done well, but they're not willing to do that. Or they're not willing to do it, they don't know how, or they yearn for the slop, which I learned is a thing recently. Yes, the Chekhov's condom. If the condom appears in Act 1, it must be used by Act 3, right?
That's funny.
It's like I don't know why I thought of Stu for that reason.
I can't imagine.
If a condom shows up in Act 1, it must be used by Act 3.
Establish a tone, overarching questions are asked, and the kind of story this will be is revealed. Then you show progress on that promise in the middle so the audience feels movement towards answers. And then it ends. There must be a payoff satisfying enough for the setups to have been worth participating in. And I think there's a craft to that, okay? Some writers can draw audiences in with setups and then they don't stick the landings. And that's most writers today. But conversely, there are writers that are terrible with setups, but the endings are very great. And those stories usually have very niche audiences. But if we zoom out, why? Why do audiences subject themselves to the risk of hearing bad stories? Why do we seek out stories at all? Because we do. We have for all of human history. All of life itself is a story. Around 335 BC, Aristotle said that tragedy, which in this instance is another term we're going to use for story, imitates a sequence of events that are both serious and complete, with a beginning, a middle, and an end. By experiencing stories, we live through them vicariously. We experience empathy for the heroes and villains. We get to live out how they feel and what they do in the moments of making decisions. It's why we feel so connected to different characters. It's why we love superheroes so much. We look at Superman and see that he shares lots of human qualities, but also he's better than us. Certainly physically stronger, yes, but also he chooses to do the right things despite.
Yeah, so like I said in my Superman is Superman Irrelevant Today video, it's more along the lines of it's the test of a man, the idea of with great power. No, that's a different one. Responsibility. But power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That idea is challenged by Superman. He is a man with absolute power, and he decides not to be corrupted by it. And that's usually the hero's journey part of the temptation. His temptation test is constant. It is, you have the power to stop X, Y, Z, but you can, but should you? And how will you stop it? Because you have no limits as Superman, really. You can stop anything in any way you want, but it's down to your moral, personal, ethical code as to how you handle these situations. That's why it's such an interesting aspect when they utilize it.
It's sometimes being near impossible. That's courage in.
It's more. It is like a guideline, because not every single journey is going to be exactly the same, but it's going to have this level of progression for the most part. Usually it can be like the woman is temptress is the typical thing you go with as temptation, but Luke doesn't have that. Luke Skywalker gets more along the lines of, should I kill my dad or should I not? Like that's literal temptation being brought to him by his own teachers, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to save his dad, and also his impulsiveness is a flaw, and so you kind of want him to face down his flaw, and he does so in Empire Strikes Back. This flaw of impulsiveness and immaturity is something he displays in A New Hope, where he's like putting together the Save the Princess plan on the fly, and he gets into a bunch of trouble. But in the second one, he does the same thing. He goes, "I'm going to go save my friends. I don't care what you say, Yoda." And Yoda's like just warning him against it, and he goes off with the same manner and mindset as he did with the whole Save the Princess plan, and he gets annihilated. And now he knows that this is a bad idea. I need to listen to you. I should listen to Yoda. So he kind of learns this whole thing through a brutal reality check. But anyway, chat. The
face of dangerous odds, and by seeing Superman overcome, or at least challenge those odds, we ourselves find that we may never be as strong as Superman, but we may, at least, try to do the right thing ourselves when things are challenging in our own lives. Characters and story.
There we go, Chet. We are halfway to Pillman for the day, and an extra video.
And not just superheroes here. We look to learn from. When you see Frodo carrying the ring up Mount Doom and failing and collapsing, we see Sam pick him up and carry his friend up the mountain to complete his quest. We watch this, we read this, and in your lives, you may be in an instance where your journey puts you in the shoes of Frodo, facing an impossible quest. Or perhaps you're Sam, and you have to choose to be the one to lift your friends up so they can do what must be done. The point being is, it doesn't matter if you are actually carrying your friend up Mount Doom itself, or if you're passing them a chalupa because you went to Taco Bell. Human beings experience stories as if they're repetitions on the brain. How we live and how we behave, what we believe in, how we interact with the world and perceive existence is defined in stories. And through most of human history, stories are there to express human emotion, but they are also there to discuss and sometimes even debate human existence itself. All we are stories.
And see, up, down says, player knowledge versus character knowledge. Superman can hear everyone on the planet at all times, but why would you listen? Yeah, I think that comes up sometimes, where it's like, it's very telling as to where his mindset goes with this, right? Where he can actually hear a lot of people, or most people, or all people on the planet, depending on, I guess, which writer, right? But the thing is, what he has to do is he has to drown it all out. He has to he laser focuses on the person at hand, which is very interesting, because it's like the idea behind having all this power, right? Is like, I can help everybody, but not even Superman could do that. And it's hubris, the thing that you can. And so that very idea to me kind of signifies that is necessary. He can't save everyone. He can't save everyone in the same way he can't listen to everybody at the same time. He can't save everybody. So that alone is very telling to me. It's sheer hubris, the thing you can save everyone in the world, even though you're Superman. But it's so easy to see where the attack would come from. Like, you're going to turn a deaf ear to people in need. That's not very heroic of you. You're evil, Superman. Superman is evil. he turns it. He just turns off the cries of help from people across the world. Like no, it doesn't make him evil. Even Superman can help everybody, but you can hear the argument happening now. It's kind of the same in the same vein as Batman should give all of his money away. That'll solve all issues, all problems.
The experience of your life from the moment your memory kicked on to this very moment listening to me speak has been the story of your life. And you've let that story and those experiences define who you are and how you act. Through that,
and see, abrasione, unsurprised villain still doesn't count as a slur. The correct term would be differently good. Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's not a villain. Okay, he's just misunderstood, differently good person.
You've learned right from wrong, which means you've also experienced right from wrong with others. You know what doing wrong looks like, and if you know what doing wrong looks like, and you care, and you should, then you are less inclined to do wrong. Well, we brought up the Lord of the Rings before. Let's take a look at Sauron. You see that Sauron, while being some kind of otherworldly being, still inhabits human qualities. And did you know that his selfish idealism actually started as a desire to put the world in order? Yeah, that's something you might miss if you only watch the Peter Jackson film. According to Professor Tolkien in 1956, Sauron began on the level of wanting to order the world according to his own wisdom. And at first, he considered the well-being of other people, but then pride kicked in, and a lust to dominate followed. Eventually, he wanted to be a god king. He wanted everyone else to worship him, and if he won, every rational creature in Middle-earth would have been required to treat him like a god. Well, that's not morally gray, now is it? Because what we're talking about is malice. And even though this is a fantasy story, those motivations of power and control are very real emotions. History will show you that human beings are capable of doing terrible, awful things in the name of achieving power and dominance over others. The first children in the Bible are Cain and Abel. A brother killed...
Yeah, he's not evil, he's morally challenged. You see, a few years ago that would have been a joke. Like that would be like a joke that a villain would say in a comedy. But now today, that's like something that one of these SJW types would seriously say as an argument. O'Donnell says, no, they don't use good and evil though. Yeah, that's also true. They kind of got rid of the ideas of good and evil. That's what they've done. They've done that. And one of the probably one of the most overt examples of this is the new Fable, I think remake, where the guy remaking the game, the director is like, yeah, we got rid of the whole good evil thing. Like you no longer get horns if you're evil, and you no longer gain a halo if you're good. Like it's all about moral relativism and how so everyone has their own perspective, and they might see an evil action as good or a good action as evil. What you think would be a good action as evil, things like that. So that's what they said. So yeah, you're right. They're not. I guess not saying that, oh, he's evil. He's not evil, he's morally good. They got rid of the idea of good and evil entirely. That's also true.
Killing a brother out of jealousy. And if these aspects of humanity are real, which they are, if malevolence is real, which it is, and not just a child's fantasy as Hollywood would have you believe, then the morally gray argument that we all exist inside this sticky, there is no good, there is no evil reality cannot exist. You cannot say that evil does not exist in a world overwhelmed by acts of evil. Malice is not a vibe. It's not being in a bad mood that one time. Do you know that statistically speaking here, people who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder over long periods of time don't necessarily suffer just because they were hurt? A considerable statistic of people with PTSD suffer the longest because they encountered someone who wanted to hurt them. People can go through all sorts of horrible things and not be traumatized. You know, there's terrible illnesses, death in the families, accidents every single day. But you wait until you tangle with someone who is malevolent, and you will not be the same person on the other side, assuming you manage to put yourself back together at all. Moral grayness as a belief system that is peddled to the masses today is itself a fog. It's a smokescreen meant to make you less vigilant and less inclined to handle the malevolent when it rolls around. The people preaching that there is no good and there is no evil.
You know, I'm not sure if this is universal necessarily, but And I think Stu might have might know this as well, or at least some experience with this as well. But what he just said is interesting because I believe it to be true, and we know this. And a lot of people were exposed to this level of maliciousness with Charlie Kirk's murder. Right? Everyone saw like this is like it's horrifying. Like the assassination, this based on politics, is horrifying, especially in our country where we have a very high trust society. Um, the thing is, all these people came out and started celebrating his death, mocking his death. And for the first time, a lot of Americans got to see what true evil looks like. The idea of this guy just going around campuses, talking to people, and he was assassinated for doing nothing except expressing his freedom of speech. He wasn't being evil. He wasn't being malicious. He wasn't going around just saying the N-word or whatever, like that one guy. He was just going to campuses and talking to people. That's it. And he got shot and killed for it. And all these people around the country celebrated, mocked, and ridiculed people. They just celebrated his death like it was, the end of World War II or something. And I do think for the first time in a long time, or maybe the first time ever in a lot of people's cases, they got to see a good, ugly look at maliciousness. And I think they might have had their victory lap. But I think in the end, a lot of people woke up to what was actually going on. A lot of people did. And it's probably why like so many people can like know that, oh, wait a minute, these socialists are taking over? No, I'm not going to vote for socialists. Why the Democratic Party is so low in the polls, like so low in favorability. But I think they got their victory lap. I think it came back to them with a significant amounts of blowback.
Are the people capable of conducting the most evil? Because if you yourself don't believe in good or evil or right from wrong, then it doesn't matter what you do to other people. It doesn't matter that you only care about oneself because everyone else is only out for themselves. Why shouldn't you be? That other person is capable of taking advantage of you. You might as well take advantage of them before they get the drop on you. It doesn't matter that Jean Grey threw an old man in front of a car or sex.
This is by the way, this is Faye Valentine and Cowboy Bebop has this mentality. We deceive or we are deceived. This is how she justifies her actions about scamming even her friends, but it's still a bad thing to do, right?
Actually assaulted both Peter Parker and Michelle Jones. She was lashing out because the government took her sister, you guys.
Sorry, guys.
The ends justify the means. We're all...
Apologies for ghosting real quick. I do gotta get going. Thank you for having me. I gotta go do loading crew stuff. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. Have a good day, Stu.
Hey, thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's see. Daikaraya says the moral equivalent of you must put your hand in the fire and grab the burning knife. Grab the burning knife because otherwise you cannot defend your family. Acts which harm you despite that must be done right. Do the right thing. Yeah. You take pain to attain the means to defend your family.
Machiavellian in this morally gray society. Many of those people she hurt may never walk again, but all of that is okay because she used her plot device magic to make sure Peter Parker survived getting shot with a 50 caliber bullet. All is forgiven, I think. Now, this whole thing, again, is less about this one instance with Spider-Man, but these writers and Hollywood at large want you to believe that all should be forgiven for Jean Grey and characters who commit atrocities like Jean Grey. They try to justify it and reduce it down as if it was okay, and maybe, see, this is a good one, maybe you would commit the same atrocities if put in a similar position. Well, that takes us back to what we discussed with Aristotle and the purpose of storytelling. We as humans seek out stories to experience empathy and catharsis while also learning how to handle our own challenges by seeing how characters in stories wrestle with their challenges. Stories are repetitions on the brain. I mean, think about it this way. Why do we read biographies? Well, it's normally to see how people throughout history have overcome challenges. Biographies are boring if there are no challenges to overcome. Any story is. Well, then I would ask you, what happens to a generation of people who are raised on a belief system that the world is morally gray and that there is no good and there is no evil? You see,
why not? The whole idea becomes, screw you, get mine. which is not a very functional society.
Because the Jean Grey thing, or the ends justify the means, the Machiavellianism of modern day storytelling, it's not for you and it's not for me. We know better already. We were raised in the last great era of human expression. We had amazing movies. We had great stories. We had video games that brought out the best in us, I would say. But there is none of that being made today. It's not about you. Spider-Man isn't for you anymore. Brand New Day wasn't for you. Rings of Power isn't for you. The upcoming Harry Potter show, that's not for you either. You had your movies. You had your books. This show is not yours. The upcoming Narnia...
It's for the new generation.
...films that dramatically alter...
It's always, the idea is always, it's all for a new generation. For a new generation. Why? Why is that? Why does it always have to be X for a new generation?
C.S. Lewis's stories aren't yours either. They're all for your children. If stories are reinforced through repetition, as Aristotle said, then when you replace all of the stories of heroes and heroism and human-first morality with something that idealizes the self as priority, which is what morally gray really is, it's a pursuit of oneself above all others, what does society look like when that's all the stories being consumed by a generation of children who don't know any better and whose parents are entirely unattached from the discussion to do anything about it? If you feed children Machiavellianism, you raise Machiavellians. But you know, there's a really good test for this, because despite people doing good or bad things, there is a binary in your head for it. You know when things are wrong. You know when things are right. You have a conscience. And sure, maybe a conscience is developed over your life experience, or maybe there are cultural aspects to it, or maybe it's God-given, whatever the case may be. But you know what it looks like to hurt someone, and you know it's a bad thing to do. You know that it's better for you to get more sleep instead of staying up and doom scrolling, right? You know that you need to leave early to get to work on time. You know what it's like to lie. And maybe those lies hurt someone. Well, now you'll have to carry that, right? If you're not a narcissistic psychopath like these Hollywood writers all are, you might feel guilt about doing bad things. Perhaps you might even feel some shame. You know, most people view shame as dishonorable. Like personally, they view shame as a dishonorable thing. But actually, if you feel shame, that's you holding yourself accountable for your own actions.
Yeah, it's all this whole crusade about not feeling shame. Like, stop kink shaming, stop X shaming. There's also the crusade of like, and it kind of goes into the idea. It was said earlier, they want to make evil characters without the stigma of evil. They want to do corrupt and terrible things without the stigma of being shamed for it. They want to do whatever they want without shame. That was it. And so they get rid of morally good and morally evil, and kind of get rid of the idea of good and evil altogether. So they can do horrible things and not be shamed for it, not have to feel guilty for it.
It is actually very honorable to feel shame for any transgressions you might have made. When you make mistakes, you face them. You don't sweep them away and make excuses. But when
it's Aaron Nazaro says, Xenos is the brilliant healer in the shadows. Was asked which coins, silver, bronze, and gold, would he pick up. He responded to all of them, since all people's wealth is equal in his eyes. So that's how. I guess that's how you do a morally great character well. Yeah.
World is morally gray and everyone is the same kind of nothing, then there is no reason to overcome one's flaws. There's no reason to be better, because no one else ever will be. And if there's no reason to be better, then there's no reason to be accountable. And you could walk through life living as narcissistically and deceitfully as you would like. You know, working on this video, there's been this reoccurring parable that's stuck with me as I've been working on this video. Because when you perceive morally gray as an idea, it's that there is this middle, like a sticky middle that neutralizes good and evil. Well, this parable is that there's this story about a man. He has a dream where he wakes up in an open field, and the field was divided by a fence. And on one side of the fence is Satan, and on the other side is God. And Satan looks at him and says, "Which one do you want? You want God or you want me? You come over here, I'll give you all you want. You could have everything, but if you go with God, you don't get anything that's over here." And so this guy is contemplating. He's like, "Yo, Jesus, I see you there, and you're good and all, but like, I see some stuff over here that I want too. So the man laughs at both of them and climbs up and sits on the fence. He says, I don't need to choose either of you. I can be on both sides of you at the same time. And as he's laughing and scoffing at Satan and God, it goes black. And out of the darkness, Satan appears and grabs him by the wrist. The man goes, no, I didn't choose you. I sat on the fence. I got a little bit of Jesus. I got a little bit of you. At which point Satan smirks and says, the fence belongs to me. I don't think you necessarily need to be a Christian for that to resonate with you, although it definitely will if you are. While we like to imagine that superhero movies and fantasy stories of galaxies far, far away don't mean anything, like, they...
See, that's exactly why I say that a well-done, morally great character is a morally good character forced to do terrible things due to his circumstances. Because when he does these morally great things, he should feel bad about it. He should feel shame. It should be a moment of, I failed. I can't uphold my principles here. I must compromise my principles to do bad things for what he seems to be the greater good. So what it boils down to is morally gray should come from a well-meaning character or heroic character who seems to at least believe he needs to do terrible, morally great things to survive or save the world. But then he'll go and try to redeem himself for these actions. You'll feel bad about it. You'll try to, just find forgiveness. And it's kind of what Rurouni Kenshin is about. Also, is that he is a good person who believed he was doing a good deed, even though he was destroying himself morally. Right? He found what he was doing so ethically repugnant that he kind of built an alternate personality to bear that weight. It's kind of why he shifts between Kenshin Himura and the Botosai later on, because he had to build this other personality in order to weather and shoulder all of this moral guilt that he had on. He had to make this evil portion of himself that could bear that moral degeneracy, that moral evil. But then he's, of course, because he's a good person, spent 10 years plus after the war trying to redeem himself for all the evil that he did. That's kind of where you get a kind of morally gray idea from. I'm pretty sure during the war, Kenshin was a very morally great character for the most part. And maybe sometime after it. He becomes a good person afterwards to redeem himself because that's who he is. He's a good person. Probably a lawful good person, one could say. It's a no-kill rule and everything. So, at the end of the day, it should be from a morally good person, and they should feel bad about doing these morally gray actions. It's not about shamelessness. It's about feeling shame and that conscious decision to do a horrible action because you believe you have no other choice, not because, this is the simple, easy choice, so I'm just going to go ahead and torture this guy. It's really easy, right? It should be, we don't have time, we're running out of time. We got to get the information. I know this is wrong, but we got to do it. And they torture the guy, and he hates it. He's feeling bad about it. He's torn apart by it, but he has to do it. That is properly morally gray.
Tell you that they're all just children's stories. And all of that is a lie. Stories are the heart of the human experience. And the Hollywood writers, Hollywood at large, the powers that be, are not after any one character. They're not changing individual heroes. They are, but they're not really. They're coming after storytelling as a form of human expression. And it's going to take a lot more than just a guy in a silly wizard outfit to do anything about it. Until next time, my friends, create, innovate, inspire, cancel Disney Plus.
I thought it was a real fake wizard, not a fake wizard. Anyway, chat, we are really far away from the goal of Pelham and everything, so I think that's pretty good. We'll go ahead and save the sanitized fantasy video for tomorrow, I believe. And the extra video for tomorrow, I believe, is we're just barely halfway over. So I don't think we're going to make it. Anyway, chat, let's go over to stream memes. That's streaming. Palestiana, they said $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let me see.
Oh my God!
The whole Jean is more the gray thing kind of reminds me of how people view Demona. Yeah, I guess it's true. They kind of fail to realize that she's responsible for her own suffering and not someone who should 100% pity. That is true. Demona from Gargoyles is pitiable, and she is kind of sympathetic, not because she's misunderstood. She's not misunderstood. She actually is kind of an insane wackaloon, but she's kind of sympathetic in the same way a lot of Batman villains are, because she can't help it. It's her flaw. She's self-destructive. She's self-sabotaging. Whenever she has the upper hand, it has to come down to her sabotaging herself and taking her own beloved things away from her. She wants a daughter. Well, the daughter finds her crazy. She wants Goliath. Well, Goliath finds her morally repugnant now. He's not with her in her own mindset, so she has to be enemies with him. Because she suffered 1,000 years of experiences without him, and so yeah, she'll easily brush him aside for the most part. So yeah, Demona is pitiable, and I can see people kind of feeling sorry for her. That's why I liked her so much, because she is very pitiable, but also very dangerous, but at the same time, just self-destructive. That's what makes her so pitiable. And ultimately speaking, the City of Stone story arc, we get to see that at the end of all of this, her choices, she might hide behind a veneer of confidence and malice, but at the end of the day, her choices have made her a lonely, lonely person, a very unhappy and lonely person. And really, she just wants what she had. Essentially, what happened with Demona is that she had everything she ever wanted, but it was never enough. It wasn't enough. That's kind of what the issue was. It was not enough that they had a castle and allies and a place to live that was safe, and she had her husband and everything. That wasn't enough, because what she really wanted was the castle all to themselves, like a castle without humans and just run by gargoyles. And so she tried to do that and ended up with the death of her entire clan. And she believed, I think, Goliath thought she died, but she saw Goliath cursed and that stone turn into stone at night. So cursed for 1,000 years. And so her life became just a horror show of suffering and chaos. And at the end of it all, it was all her fault. And the only way to weather this guilt is by blaming everything on humans, which just made things way, way worse. Because this ultimately led to her betraying Macbeth. Like one of her greatest allies was Macbeth, and she kind of overheard something that she misunderstood, and essentially this led her to betraying him, even though he had no intention of ever betraying her. But her this built-in distrust of humans is what essentially happened. It's her flaw that she had to form, is a flaw that she chose in order to weather the fact that she was responsible for the death of her entire clan. It's a lot to weather. Basically, the genocide of her own people was on her hands because she made a mistake trusting humans. That's why she can justify her hatred of humans, because she trusted the Viking invaders to just slaughter all the humans and leave her own clan alone, which they of course didn't. And so at the end of the day, she's pitiable, but also evil, also very cruel. She's responsible for her own suffering. She's self-sabotaging. But you can still pity someone, sympathize with them, I suppose, but still know they're evil and need to be punished or stopped. And that's exactly what Demona is. It's very interesting in that respect, very complex in that respect as well, I believe. Let's see here, chat. Let's see here. Make sure I get this all ready to go. Awesome. See, Alex Halo. This is another suggestion. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D Season 2 opening and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX's Season 4 opening. Thank you much, Alex Halo. Put those on the list for consideration. Thank you very much, Alex Halo, for the additional 2 through Streamlabs. But anyway, chat. And we go ahead and update this. I still think we're pretty far away from Pillarman. Pretty sure. All right. There we go. Yes. Wait a minute. That can't be possible. 1 second. It can't be right. Let's see. All right, got this. Awesome. And this. All right. So now we're at 66. 66, I think. I think that's where everything altogether came up with. All right, there we go, chat. So still closer, but still really far away. Anyway, chat. Here we go. To stream memes, chat. Where is it? All right, so we're gonna move over to stream memes with this.
It began with the suicide of Charles Blackwell, just days after his 55th birthday. Then the Rhineswan family massacre. 3 generations painfully passing from this world, crying the same crimson tears Blackwell had.
Five members of the prominent Rhineswan family were found dead.
After that, the media finally gave their murderer a name. The Red Crier Killer.
Remember, you will die! Investigators believe the killer may be the same individual the media has dubbed the Red Crier.
Memento mori. Remember, you will die. I know it's droll to sell my soul. I wanted to protect them though, but I couldn't even play my role. Now vengeance is my only goal. Memento mori. Too late for sorry. No goodbye. Breath goes dry. I will cry when I remember you will die.
All right, thank you much, everyone, today. But thank you much, Best Chat, for being Best Chat. Here we go. Stream memes. Stream memes. Dave always says, what's nuts is Pastamona even gets visited by her future self and is repulsed by what she becomes. And even with that foresight, she still becomes that evil, broken person. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of very similar, right? It's very similar to how Light Yagami kind of encounters himself. Because remember that there's at one point in Death Note where Light kind of voluntarily gives up all of his memories of the Death Note. He managed to pull it off in order to seem innocent. And then he's like, he's literally, there's this innocently and earnestly trying to help L catch Kira. Right? He's like, and they're going over through all the things that Kira has done, all the clues, and then Light just finds it all absolutely repugnant. Like, this guy's evil. He needs to be stopped. It's very interesting because, like, the Light without the influence of the Death Note, Light without all of those experiences as Kira and being sent, going crazy because of all of his power and turning mad because of all his power, he's a good person. He's a good person. He wants to stop evil. That was his whole thing. He was righteous. As ER says, he is righteous. Very righteous. Until he's corrupted by all that power. That's kind of what happens. But yeah, it's like that. Like, it's very interesting seeing like the good version of someone's character and then seeing like the corrupted evil future version. Yeah, the Mona visits her past self in order to give her like she wanted to give herself like a head start on all this stuff. She can become more powerful and stuff. And she's like, no, I'm not going to, whatever it took to turn to you, I will not do. This is awful. Like, it was crazy. Like, just very interesting to see what Demona used to be. Anyway, chat, let's see. Get the couch. That's the chair. It's Monday. And see, this was in my Airbnb. That's pretty awesome. I just came back from the doctors and they told me I'm very sick. Sick of everyone's bullshit. Nice. Very based. See, new Black Flag mod adds custom sales with no disc, no buy message. It's a Monocacy County Sheriff's Office, Maryland. Whoever did this, you completely broke our flock cameras. We'll give out the leftover donuts from yesterday's team meeting to anyone who gives us information on the owner of this van who covered it in photos of other vehicles and completely overload our system. And they really planned this out. It's Please don't cover your car in photos of other cars to confuse flock cameras. You planned that out pretty well. It's a Resident Evil. The Gooner. You got it, boss. You need to talk to the boss. Okay, boss, got a problem with the boss? Right away, boss. Let's see. Is Uncle Ruckus the orc, like a self-hating orc? Dear GW, introduce this character as Uncle Orcus. He's a blind orc that thinks he's a human and he hates orcs. Let's see. What is this? Why is it Leela? Oh, because it's Cyclops? Oh, yes, right. Okay, so this is Odysseus and being the Cyclops, and the Cyclops is Leela. Oh, it's a big ass spider. Oh, it's a big ass spider. His name is Aragog, not big ass spider. Trump, you can't play for Gryffindor as a Slytherin. Fuck you, Harry. And not know what's this? Alex Halo. Oh, is it like a top tier ranking? Is that it? It's the unspeakable evil intensifies. It's Chungus. Quirk Chungus. I like to see you try. I want that. Me too, but did you get my joke? No. Oh, got it. Let's see. Want to see a real Marvel fan? You may be ready to fight one man, but you face the Justice League. I'm sorry, but that's supposed to be intimidating. Human logic. Mine the sand. Turn sand into Chip. Chip powers PC. PC powers Minecraft so we can mine digitally. What food is this? The marketing, the nutritional information. And say soy boy alert. Oh my goodness, Spider-Man. A co-executive producer humming as a ha 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 ha. I think that's one of the most fun things I've ever done. Don't take this the wrong way. But I mean, this is the best possible way. But even if you weren't ugly, I'd definitely be your girlfriend. Okay. That is the wrong way. I mean, this is the best possible way, but if you weren't ugly, I'd definitely be your girlfriend. Okay. I swear, I mean it as a compliment. I mean, your personality, your charisma, and everything else about you is incredible. Any girl would love to have a guy like you. Yeah, sure. It's like that. That's the commentary you get from some of these quirk chunguses. Like, I'd really, any girl we're happy to have you. Weren't so ugly. He's like, oh, thanks. Alex Halo looks the 5. Now, Super Chat says, my name being in Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, that's right. That's right. I got top ranking in the competition of their phone game. That's right. Well done, Alex Halo. Well done. Well done. And then you got like a key master or something, the keyblade or something, right? You got to have that in there. There we go. Thank you very much, everyone. Insane. In the 80s, everyone wanted to go to the future. Now we all want to go back to the 80s. This is very true. It's kind of what happened. Turned out to be the case. My face when the parents find out I'm not a real karate teacher and that I just like kicking children. Fat Spider-Man. The two goats dancing together. And see, my all-time favorite. Everyone loves Spider-Man. It's a fake. There it is. It's a fake. That's where it comes from. The pale moonlight. It's a fake. This far and no further. Honor. What's this? If Spider-Man B and D used the Gaines twins from MTV Spider-Man instead of the Greys, then I'm certain the blowback would have softened. They use actual villains, yeah. Dad, why is my sister named Rose? Because your mother loves roses. Thanks, Dad. No problem, my dog Spot. Not Spot, but my dog Spot. Let's see. All right, let's see your chat. There's Zelda, little Zelda. Albus Service Potter. You were named after two of the bravest men I ever knew. I literally sacrificed myself to a giant chess game so that when I was 11 for you. Yeah, where's Ron? Shouldn't Ron be in there somewhere? I love you in every universe. Makes sense. This Stu post this. I have no strong feelings one way or the other. If I don't survive, tell my wife hello. Playing Zelda Twilight Princess for the plot. Makes sense. Makes sense. You shouldn't trust me. Okay, I won't trust you then. But you trusted me though. He told you not to trust him, but Ned Stark did anyway. That's not lawful good. That's lawful stupid. Like the guy should have told you not to trust him. You should have the Stark should have had a plan in place just in case he did try to stop him or betray him, because he told him that he would. Remember, Bran, no climbing. You know what? I should be selfish to worry my mother, especially while she's in accommodating royalty. I'll go play with my badass direwolf instead. Yeah, if only. If only. Hey, Rob, let's get married. LOL, I'm not losing this war over one chick. Get out of my fucking tent. But that's what happened, though. That's what happened. And because Rob Stark is also a really good person, and so he's like, you know what? I slept with this girl, so I need to marry her. I need to stop my marriage to the phrase that I promised, because in order to receive the men I need. And so I'm gonna just toss that all the way and hope he's just cool with it. Hey, Tyrion, the assassin tried to kill Bran, had this knife. You know anything about it? Oh, that thing, it went missing from the armory a few days ago. I'll look into it. Good thing you decided to just ask instead of sending your own men after me. We could have started a war. Yeah, it could have been pretty bad. As you go hunting, ruin everything for everyone. It's a wealthy knight that could have any woman sleep with his sister. Feel impatient. Brethren, threaten army of bloodthirsty warriors. They're probably not the best idea, especially if you have no real army of your own. Impregnated by brother 3 times. Happy about it. Member of prestigious house. Dedicate life to freezing and not having sex. I guess he has to because he's a bastard, I think, right? Suspect Tyrion of crime based on circumstantial evidence. Start a war. Promise mother not to climbs tower. Command army of fierce warriors. Die of infected boo-boo. Oh, what a surprise. It's been a while. Midna got larger. Normalize this, normalize that. How about you start acting normal? Yeah. Great, now I have guilt. Boys, they got superhero powers. Everyone is so pathetic. I'm just like Homelander, but I'm real. Men, if they got superhero powers. You know what? I must be you. Our world needs love, but it's a struggle. As I go through my selfish nature, I can never be you. Nevertheless, I must try to do good, or the world will suffer through my... Yeah, the whole Homelander thing is a very immature version of a superhero. Superman is what happens when a person matures and understands what it means to have superpowers. Is Homelander more realistic? To an immature person, yeah. What even is this? Why is he eating shit? There are some people who even buy both versions and both of their DLCs for $180 plus, $16 for a subscription just to store Pokemon digitally, bruh. Let people enjoy things. It sold 18 million units because it's good. When do pre-orders open? That's a good question. Normalize this, normalize that. How about you feel ashamed for once? Exactly. Society, if we literally just ignore the opinions of women most of the time. Gargoyles. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of Star Trek actors were in this show. Hold on. Yeah, 94. Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Gargoyles was really cool. There's I think her name is Angela. It's like Goliath's daughter from Out of Time or something. And then Gargoyles, Demona. I'm pretty sure they're going to make her a really, really sympathetic character who's just misunderstood and actually the good guy the whole time. I can't wait for that to be the case. Anyway, chat. We're going to close the stream for today. So thank you much, everyone, for joining me today. Thank you much, Best Chat, for always being Best Chat. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. See you again, of course, next time.
On a cold winter morning in the time before the light, in flames of death's eternal rain, we ride towards the fight. When the darkness has fallen down and the time keep it in all the